Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning. Got an absolutely amazing broadcast. All we need, all that is missing in this whole situation, all that's missing in the situation is you. Give us a call, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Give us a call. We love to have you. We got a topic that we're going to talk about this morning that may ruffle a few feathers. We sometimes that's what we do. We ruffle a few feathers and we talk about things that is sometimes people just don't want to talk about. And I think this is one of those topics today that we're going to talk about that sometimes people don't want to talk about because it's not comfortable. It's really not comfortable for sometimes for people to talk about the topic that we're going to cover today. But I want to do it, and I hope that you all would do it with me. Again, give me a call, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Would love to have your input. Would love to have your input in this discussion, in this conversation that we're going to have this morning. And I'm going to go ahead and let you know what it is. We're going to talk about today. Do you know your truth? Do you know your truth? What is your truth? What is it that defines you? What is it that make you who you are? What is it that separates you from everybody else? What is your absolute truth? What is and if you go to the depths of your fiber of who you are, do you know who you really are? Do you know who you are? Not what people say you are, not what you want yourself to be, but do you know your own truth? Do you know what your truth is? Are you walking in your truth? Are you walking in your truth? If you were asked to define what your truth is, could you find the absolute words that would define who you are? Do you have those words? A lot of times, people say they do. People are quick to say, "I know me. Know me better than anybody else," and you should. But do you? 678-381-1973. This I don't know how much of input we're going to get on this particular topic right here because of what it is, and because of where it has the potential to take people to. This topic has the potential of making a person really lay down and evaluate who they are and what they represent. It has the potential to do exactly that. And I want you all to be with me. Again, give me a call, 678-381-1973. If you want to be on the video, if you want to be on the video side, send me a message in Facebook or one of the other platforms that we have it. Just send me a message, let me know that you want this that you want to be on video, and I'll certainly send you that link as well. I'll send that link to you because we want to have your input. And be it on the radio, be it on the on television side, whatever it is, we want to have your input. We want you to be able to tell your story and what it is and what it is and how you feel. Okay, we got my brother. I see my brother's coming in right now. He's trying to get his video up. Trying to get his video up. As soon as he gets his video, I'm gonna bring him right on in. Let me see. VP, are you there, brother? There, that's that.
Hey,
that,
good morning.
that good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I'm trying to get on your schedule. I'm working on it.
There you
But
go. Hey, you good?
it's a joy to get up to do it. So I'm learning.
There you go, man. We got a heavy one this morning, brother.
Okay.
We got a heavy one this morning, and what it's going to do, man, it's going to actually pull back some layers on all of us. It's going to pull back some layers on all of us. So I'm gonna ask you the question. I want to make sure that you're settled first, and make sure that you're sitting down and that you're ready for this question, because
Okay.
I'm about to put it out there for you now. So let me know when you're ready.
Let me see. Let me go to my hidey hole.
There you go. Let me know when you're ready, because I'm gonna tell you something. This is it. Adult supervision required. Yes, in this topic, I think it is, brother. I want to ask you this question, and you tell me what it is, and tell me what your answer is, and tell me what give it to me. How they say, straight up, no chaser. All right, you ready for it?
Hmm.
Do you know, or what is your VP? What is your truth?
Ooh. My truth. It could be a middle thing.
Yeah, it's a different one, and this is a question right here that a lot of people and I get that reaction from a lot of people when I ask them this question. Well, what is your truth? What defines you? If I were to ask you to tell me what your truth is, pull back all your layers, pull back all the things that people. If I were to ask you to be that oak tree in the wintertime, the oak tree in the wintertime. Now in the summertime, the oak tree is full of leaves and they can hide behind whatever you want to hide behind. Yeah, in certain part of that tree you can't see because it has the foliage on it. Certain parts of that tree you can't see because it's able to hide from certain things. But if I were to ask you to be that oak tree in the wintertime, when all the leaves is falling off the tree and every part of that tree is exposed, what is your truth, brother?
I would. Well, I know one of my things is I serve. So I do know from my own life journey that and pulling back a lot of my layers that the thing that I do most is I assist. Like my truth is, like, I know for me, I'm not an entrepreneur. So
hey VP, let me say this to you because I got a lot of things going on the system right now. If for whatever reason, if I freeze and it look like I'm frozen or something like that, we have you on video. So just keep talking until I come back, okay? Okay, yeah, just keep the conversation going until I come back. But go ahead.
I would say my truth that I feel for me is I'm a server. So I'm a good number two, period. Like I ain't got no problem ensuring somebody else gets the limelight. So it took me a long time to figure that out because I would attach myself to people who wouldn't value or would undervalue the things I did for them. So that would make me sulk or believe that I wasn't worthy enough for certain things until I surrounded myself with people who seen the value or the truth in my actions. That's a deep one. I guess there's a different way of saying the truth. What is the truth?
And see, and that's it, and a lot of times when I talk to people, I dig deep into it, and I, because a lot of times what they want to tell you, they want to talk to you about the surface.
Yeah.
I'm this, I'm that, and all those things are surface. If it was a wound, all those would be surface wounds. It wouldn't be anything that's going to sacrifice or sacrifice your life in any kind of way. It's only surface wound. But if we get down deep into the moral, how whatever you say that thing, the bone moral, however you say that, if we get deep into that and have to define what your truth is by going deep into the bone and pull out what's in there, that's where your truth lies right there. And a lot of times people don't want to deal with that reality of what lies inside there. A lot of times people don't want to deal with their reality, man. And when I say people, that includes myself. That includes myself, man, because some of the truth isn't as pleasant as you would like for it to be. Some of the truth ain't pretty. It really ain't pretty, man. Some of the absolute truth, it ain't pretty. And it's something that you don't want, it's one of those little secrets, or some of those secrets that you don't want revealed to other people or even to yourself sometime. Talk to me.
So now telling the truth is I can I give you an example? Is that all right to give an example?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
We had men being men. We were speaking candidly about what it's like to be rejected last week, and one of my truths was I had to come to the realization that I have a hard time in communicating with my spouse or other people at times, not because I didn't respect them, or it's just because I had labeled myself as an introvert. So I placed this label on me being the truth, that as long as I kept speaking it out loud, I was that person. So I gave myself some type of excuse not to want to reach out and be better. So I put out in the radio show last week that I had my truth, honest truth, because that's who I really do like. I just feel like lying doesn't work anymore, but I have, messed up and was texting other people because I didn't feel that my spouse was having proper communication with me. She could, she'd be quick to talk to everybody else, but with me, then it was slow to answer. So I took that as a personal jab, but in the same sense, I, as I get in the spirit in me, you start to slow down and get that truth that maybe you should work on yourself, or maybe you should find other things to do, or maybe, instead of placing the blame in this direction, like I said, you get a mirror and look at the reflection. Because if it was on the other, and I think the reason that I told the truth is because it was on the other foot, I wouldn't feel right. So I had felt bad that this wasn't a path I wanted to take. Oh man,
come on.
I got a lot of truth now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And see, but and you're absolutely right. We have a lot of truth, but what is that? What is the truth? There's a lot of little truths, like little I equated like the duck. You got the father duck, the mother duck, and they all walk, but you got all them little ducklings running behind it. There's a lot of little ducklings running behind it, but what is that one truth that absolutely solidifies who you are? Who is and what is that one truth? That's the part, man. That's the part. Yeah, we got all the other elements that's running around. We got all these other elements that's involved that make up. There's a lot of things that make up. There's a lot of things that make up a cake.
Yeah.
But the one truth in the cake, the one thing that holds it all together is the batter. That batter is what holds everything together. There's other ingredients within that batter, whatever kind of cake you're making, but the truth of that cake is that batter. What's wrong, brother?
Oh, the beef.
Yeah, but the one absolute in that cake is that batter. What is your batter? That's deep, huh?
Yeah.
That's the, and I want people to know we got quite a few people that's tuning in, man. Give us a call, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Give us a call. We love to have your input. And see, this conversation that we're having this morning, thought-provoking. We're gonna poke the bear. We're gonna poke the bear this morning, and by the end of the conversation, we all gonna, and I know everybody that we have that's a part of the broadcast, you're gonna have a lot of transparency. You're gonna have a lot of truth that's gonna come out today. You're gonna have a lot of people that's gonna be thinking. Look at your brother right there. Look at my brother. Look at VP. He's thinking right now. He's in deep.
Get my iPad so I can look up truth.
Yes, sir. And see, that's the thing, man. I want to know today. We're talking about what is your truth, not the truth that people say you are, not who they feel that you are. Because a lot of time we could put up a fake narrative and have people thinking one thing, but we could be something that's totally different. We could, it's real easy for us sometimes to put up that front, to put up that facade, if you will. But at the end of the day, we know what our truth is. We know what our truth is. Hopefully, we know what our truth is. So my question today is, what is your truth? Give us a call, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. And I like, see, God sent something to me when he talked about that batter, man, because I can't think of nothing like that. So he sent that to me, man. Your batter. If you're talking about a cake, that batter is the truth of that cake. Now, if you're making a pineapple upside down cake or this kind of cake or that kind of cake, all those different ingredients go into it. But without that batter, is nothing. You don't have a cake without that batter. You don't have a cake without that batter. So in order to have a cake, you have to have that batter. So what is it that's in you? What is that truth? Again, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Waiting on the crew to come on in. Everybody should be in with us in just a few minutes. Rico, where you at, brother? Calling you out this morning. Calling you out, Rico, where you at? 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Where is everybody this morning? I hope this topic didn't scare everybody off. I hope I hope this topic on VP didn't scare everybody off, man. It has the potential to do that sometimes. This is a deep one, brother. But what's on your heart? Talk to me. Why is it that you think a lot of times people don't understand or want to deal? Why don't people want to deal with their truth sometimes?
Well, as deep as you answer, you don't want to know who you truly are.
Mm-hmm.
What you really stand for when it comes to knowing the truth, or really getting down to the foundations of what you stand on. I think a good example that comes to mind for me when learning the truth is in relationship wise is understanding each other's family dynamics is a truth. That's a truth that people typically try to ignore when they get outside the home. So if one person family grew up super church religious, or they Sunday through Wednesday through Friday, so they're always at church, but the other ones grew up with the partying and the drinking. The truth is, once you peel back the layers, that's what you go back to. And regardless of and what's funny is if you slow down fast or slow down enough to really take a comb through your life, you'll find yourself in those environments and be the most comfortable in them. So as a lot of times, especially in the last 7-8 months, I found myself peeling layers back and understanding generational curses and the mindsets of why I'm having issues within my marriage or within my own lifestyle is because I grew up seeing and reacting to things and immediately doing that same thing again. So that was another truth that I had to find out is I had to intentionally want to change patterns that I had found myself in, or that I did not know that I was doing, I guess, consciously. It's almost like a subconscious reaction to the way of life. So you find yourself, you do that. You're trying to beat. That's crazy. These crazy questions. You got a way to screen these first.
But see, and see that's the thing right there, man. And you put some truth out there just then, because a lot of times people don't want to deal with that. It has a lot to do with the upbringing, where they came from, and their family and the family in which they came from. Because sometimes people around you have a tendency to pour things into you that you don't want poured into your cup. But because of the fact that you live in that environment, because you live amongst that surroundings, some things that are poured into your cup don't belong to you. How do you get rid of that? And this is something that a lot of people gonna have problems, gonna have issues with me. But I'm gonna ask this question: everybody that say that they're Christian, everybody that say that they're saved, is that really their truth? Is that really their truth? I mean, and I don't want to touch on anybody faith, or certainly don't want to shake anybody on foundation. But my thing is, are you giving it your all? They could go to church, they could be in the choir, be on the usher board, a deacon or whatever, even a pastor, bishop, apostle, or whatever. But is that your truth? And if it's your truth, are you giving it every part of you? Are you giving it your all? Or are you just fly by night? Are you religiously going to church every time the church door is open? Are you religiously going to church, like you religiously put on your clothes every day, like you religiously get out the bed every day, like you religiously lay down and take your nap at night? Is it something that just become a habit? Is it a habit? Are you doing things out of habit, or are you giving it everything that you have? Because somewhere I read where it said God is a selfish God and He wants it all. And you come to Him, you either gonna be hot or cold. You come to Him lukewarm, He gonna spew you out of His mouth. So are we really? Are we this thing that we're doing, man? Are we really giving it everything that we have? And a part of that is knowing what our truth is, because if we know and understand what our truth is, we can connect closer to our Creator. One thing about it, man, we cannot. And man, I'm doing a lot of talking today, but we cannot connect. I don't think, this is just me talking. I could be wrong, but I don't think we can connect with our Father if we're not coming with absolute truth. If we're not coming with absolute truth, because you can't you could trick some people sometimes and do a real good job at doing it. A very good job of tricking people and making them think that you're something other than what you are. You can't trick God, man. He made you. Everything that's in you, He knows there. He knows what's in you. He knows what He put in you. He knows what He did not put in you. And so for you to get up to a situation, get to a place and a point where you say, well, I've been tricking all these people all this time. Let me try this over here. I'm going to trick God. No, you're not. No, you're not. You may humor Him for a minute. This joker really think he's tricking me. But the reality of the situation is, you're not. Talk to me, brother.
That's deep. While you were saying that, what came to my head was the story in the Bible, the walls of Jericho, and because it does fit the bill with what you're saying today, and tearing down layers and having some kind of foundation or grounding in your Christian faith. I would say how I feel when it comes to people on their walk. For me, and this is coming from a, I don't know, experience based or I want to say faith based, but I think the problem with the Christian body is everybody tries to be the pastor. So they push so hard to try to be in a calling that they're not, that they fail, or they seem to feel like they're failing as Christians because they're not meeting their expectations. But the thing is, God had an expectation for you, like you're saying. He knows who you are. So even though you may decide, and that's why I tell my wife all the time, it's like, it's funny to me how people will walk in, you'll be one thing outside of church, and then you'll walk into church and be a different person in front of them, and then walk out of church and go back to who you were. Like God didn't see you do it. Like God didn't see the whole time you were walking through camouflaging yourself. And like I told her, the reason I learned to speak the truth, because it's easier on the heart, and you actually can hear God a lot better when you decide to stop lying about everything around you, because there's nothing to hide anymore. There's nothing for you to get away with. And using that example of the walls of Jericho, when you tear down the layers and you overcome the, a lot of people like to say you toot your horn and the walls will fall, things will get out your way. But what they also forget about that in that story is when He told them to go, He said destroy everything. And that's part of your truth.
Yes,
that's something that holds you back. Is you want to get out here. So somebody like me, even with this radio show, talk to you today, I could tell you the truth about a lot of things I did, but if I didn't leave it behind, or if I didn't destroy it and keep it where it was, then all I'm gonna do is bring it back with me. And then when you do bring it back, what's crazy, and the other part a lot of people forget is when the one guy did take it and they couldn't figure out why they wouldn't get the blessings from God, and they found out he was a spy, or he wasn't a spy, but he did what was not asked. They destroyed him and everything he knew.
Yes.
And that's the issue with that's the truth is when you get into the purpose of the calling, that when we're talking Christian life, then you have to destroy some things. And if you're not willing to destroy it, now you're calling out for God to help you out, and He breaking down the walls. Now He done told you what you got to do. Leave this behind, and you choose not to. Then you'll never get what you're looking for in life. And even if you didn't use that in religious standpoint or spiritual standpoint, if you go in an educational sense and you're studying to get your master's degree, your bachelor's degree, if you didn't leave behind something that was going to help you move forward. So if clubbing was your hard thing, or drinking, or using recreational drugs was your hard thing, or staying on the apps and jumping between social media was your thing you need to leave behind so you could tear down these walls, then your truth is what's on the other side of that.
Come on.
And you know, you have to start off asking people what the truth is, but that's hard to see when walls are up. And that's the faith part of it. Is once you tear down, or you ask God to help you get rid of these walls, are you willing to face what's on the other side? And once you see it, do you have the ability to destroy it? Because you got to think these people were asked to destroy everything living.
Yes, sir.
And that we talking about children, women, animals. Do you have what's in you to destroy what's on the other side? And face your truth. And face your truth.
Exactly.
Boy, oh boy, that boy.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, brother. You going somewhere? Go ahead.
That's why I was going with mine, because I have maybe because you hear from God too. So I had a problem with identity for a minute. People pouring in my cup. I had to get into the Christian walk to understand that there's principalities that we fight beyond what you see face to face. So I had an issue with trying to figure out who I was, because from the military, so from going from my mama house straight to the military, to meeting my wife, to coming home and getting into, and that's why I use my example. My even though my family's not evil, because there's no, it's just that's how we grew, and that's a thing that we have to learn from, because everybody has their sinful ways. My family's very loving, but we are more of body pleasers. So drinking and recreational stuff, but you do it in the family environment, nobody gets hurt. On the other side, which appeased me to the eyes, is my wife's side of the family, who grew up very Southern Baptist. So they're very churchy, but not in a negative sense. But when it comes to hanging out and stuff, it wasn't my cup of tea. I didn't sit around and like the kumbayas, but I identified with that. It's just not to the extent that they had, because they let's not do that. They have things that they don't also like. They or they have sinful ways that they may not identify with, but I see it from my side, and and can identify it. So I found myself identifying with her side of the family, but having the roots of mine. So so like you were saying with the oak tree, you could put these leaves, but I'm grounded in my old lifestyle. So I can tell everybody, this is how I look here, and this is how I act there, and I'm trying to, God bless this, and blessed and highly favored. I'm spitting scripture, but not really living it, because that's what I thought I had to do, or to be a part of that family. Is not. I was put on this earth, and that's what your truth is to be put on this earth to figure out why you're with the other person, or why you need to, like you tell people all the time, you like to talk. You just talk to everybody. I'm assuming that's probably part of your truth, is getting people to open up, or helping people connect, or the networking. My thing was, I am a listening ear, and I take it, and I usually find ways to help people overcome something. But I couldn't do that by trying to, I'm an oak tree, but pretend to be a palm tree. Come on. I'm not getting the right nutrients to feed the rest of the forest. And a lot of people, scientifically, people don't think about that, and that's how I think about God all the time. He built nature first. So when you're looking at these forests, all these trees in the forest are nurturing each other, and they will choke out other trees that don't belong.
Exactly.
So if you're one of these trees that's part of this nature or the community, because it all moves together. Don't get it like God done separated us so far that we not. The nature shows us generally what we have to be all the time to survive. We don't need all this other stuff, but when these people in this forest, now one of these trees decided that they were gonna get sick and wanted to be something else, the rest of the forest would choke it out and get rid of it because that's not your truth, Mr. Oak Tree. You don't you don't get to start sprouting flowers and suck up more nutrients because you want to blossom and be better than us. It's not your time. And that will happen in regular life. In regular life, if you're trying not to be your truth, just like you saying, you get far enough, but you won't really live what you're supposed to be. Eventually, something's gonna choke you out or kill you.
Exactly.
Not figuratively or literally. I'm not wishing death on anybody.
Oh, yes, sir. We know. But let me say this. And we spoke about a couple of times about that cup. We spoke about that cup, and somewhere I read where Jesus said, Father, let this cup, let this cup pass me by. Let this cup pass me by. But he also said in the next breath, he said, but Father, if it's your will, let thy will be done, not my will, but thy will, let your will be done. And if we're in situations where we have people in our lives that should not be in our lives for whatever reason, but we love them so much, family member or whoever it is, if that cup, what is in that cup, isn't good for you, are we willing? Are we really willing to say, let this cup pass me by? Father God, take them out of my life, because they're, though I do love them, I love them so much. But if this season is over, Father God, you know better than I. If this season is over, are we willing to ask God to remove the very ones that we love out of our lives? What do you say to that, brother?
That's a tough prayer to have. To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
that's a tough prayer to even mutter out loud, because you have to know what you're doing with it. You have to know the consequences of that particular prayer when you really mean it, because that when talking about taking out people in your lives that's really a part of you, then just for a change, really, we'll stay with the tree example. So you sprout, you're going up, you're sprouting up. The people closest to you that brings something back are your branches. So what you're doing is you're asking God to start cutting off branches from you.
Yes.
And that's losing some type of nutrients or some type of small benefit that was always coming back to you. But the thing is, it's the roots that really get you. The branches just show off the beauty that God had for you. So even though you may not sprout a couple more leaves the year after, and you may have a little scar from where the branch was cut off or knocked off naturally, it doesn't stop your growth. A tree will still grow.
But a lot of times, and if a person is into gardening, I will hope they will call in and speak to me on this gardening tip, because a lot of times what happens when you're gardening and you're growing a tree, sometimes you got to prune that tree. Sometimes you got to prune that tree, and the process of pruning that tree is cutting some of the branches off. Snip here, snip. Oh, I need to cut this one off because it's going to make the tree not grow right. This right here is a bad one. Let's snip that one off. And so even with that tree, and I love how you brought that to the conversation. But even with that tree, sometimes all this is a part of that tree, but sometimes there's a pruning process that have to happen. And what if in that pruning process that we're cutting off that tree is that very person that you love so much? Is that very family member that's always been, now this family member has done some wicked things to some people, some wicked and cruel things to people, it. But they ain't never done you like that, and this is my family member, and I just love them, I just love them. Sometimes there's a pruning process, brother. Sometimes there's a pruning process, and even your family members. I had to learn this the hard way, Had to cut some family members off, man. Had to cut them off because I knew that they didn't have my best interest at heart. You know, they I'm trying to say this, but I can't say it but one way. The truth, man. A lot of times they're like a leech, and they'll continue to take, giving back nothing. And so, how do you grow? How do you grow when you have all these leeches in your life? They're sucking the very life out of you. You trying to grow, but they're sucking the life out of you, consuming your blood. How do you grow?
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Talk to me, bro. Trying to remove your covering.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That blood covering. They're trying to get rid of it. Trying to make you, as you say, lose your faith.
Yeah.
Another truth is with family members is they will not knowingly try to underhandedly or sneakily discourage something you're doing. So I grew up with mostly all women, no male role models in my family. So I got examples for days. I think one of our generational curses for my family is having strong, independent women. So when it comes to they boys, the nephews, they have a very strong, independent opinion. So marriage is not a cornerstone in our family, to say. So when you cross them wrong, you cross them wrong, they can move on. It wasn't no let's sit and fight and see what we could get out of it. So a tough decision for me to make was not openly telling my family a lot about my marriage, because all I found was negative conversations.
Yeah.
Why don't you leave her? You could do better, right? Why would you sit around and something like that? And maybe I just needed to see what a woman's mindset was on this type of topic, or but you got to understand, you can't get information from people who don't live that type of life.
Yeah.
So you can't get advice, and that's something I would say to anybody out there. Don't you get married advice from people who ain't married.
Exactly. Come on.
What can they tell you? They ain't going through the same thing. That's a truth. You haven't lived the married truth. So how do you know what it's like to be married? We could both say we're single. Maybe your game was a little better than my game, so you experienced life a little better or different than I did. But once you get married, that's a whole different truth. That's a whole different experience in life. And for someone to speak on it and not be a part of it, they can only give you their single version. They can only, because there's another cornerstone of two flesh becoming one. And when you tear something apart, it don't go back the way it's supposed to. It ain't very many things that's solid in nature that you could tear apart and it go back the same. Even with glue, that it still doesn't look like it did before. So I found myself, or I think a lot of people in this world find themselves taking advice from people that they may need to be cutting off. I found out that I had to cut off. I'd stop entertaining people on her side of the family that are very prideful, very, very deceitful in their ways, you could say. And I found myself entertaining that, but it was making deep down inside, because I knew their truth, it would make me sick. It would make me, I was repulsed. And that was changing who I was, because I was falsifying a truth that I had held for myself. And by doing that and trying to appease others, I found myself changing and becoming easily susceptible to mind games. Easily susceptible to anybody's opinion, or trying to keep up with the Joneses. And I don't care what the Joneses are doing. That's my personality. I don't really care what the Joneses is doing. But I found myself trying to keep up with the Joneses, because you lose your truth.
Come on. Yeah.
Which is hard, because you don't find it. And when you're Christian, you don't find your truth again until you're in the pigsty. You don't. You could be uppity all you want to and say, glory, 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 hallelujah, and sing the highest name praise that you can. But until you get into that pigsty and
Oh,
you're finally to eat with them, that's when you learn the truth.
mm-hmm.
And you say, oh, well, my truth is back with my father.
Yeah,
He would at least pay me.
exactly.
He would
Yeah.
at least do something for me.
Mm-hmm.
If as long as I go back, let me just go back and speak to him and see,
Yeah.
maybe it's something more for me. I screwed up everything. I done got rid of all my inheritance. The
Mm-hmm.
girls came and gone. They wasn't here. My friends that I was gambling with, they done left. I thought I'd start this business with these people, and they left me behind. I thought that this career was gonna take me somewhere, but I ended up on the street. Let me just go back and ask my father
Yeah.
and see, maybe somewhere he was calling me to stop. He was telling me, you
Mm-hmm.
know what, maybe this town is the last stop. And I just kept going. Let me call him and see if I'm in
Mm-hmm.
the right path, because maybe he has a different path for me. And what a lot of people have an issue with is when they want to call the father, they think you gonna get scorned, because that's how you grew up in the natural household. But that's not
Mm-hmm.
how it works. He comes with open arms. Now the people around you might be mad, and
Yeah.
and that's where that parable comes from. The people around you might be mad that you get to go out there and live a life you want to live, and then come back and still get welcome back. But
Mm-hmm.
that's the point of the Christian walk. It's not for you to be judging nobody.
Yeah.
It ain't for you to
Exactly.
be saying put your mouth on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's for you to welcome them back and say, you know what, you had a hard time. Tell me about it, because I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me
Exactly.
about that experience. Tell me about your truth. Tell me
Testify.
about your truth.
Yeah. Testify, brother. Testify. Tell them what is it. What is it that you went through, man? When you went down Main Street, you turned on that boulevard over there. What was on that boulevard? What should I look out for? Should I go down that one, or should I just keep going straight down that path? What should I do? Um, I was on this journey, and I was doing what I was supposed to do, and I met this group of people, and they introduced me to something called drinking that I've never done before. And now is 25 years later, and some say I'm an alcoholic. Some say I drink too much. Some say I don't look like I used to look. Some say I don't dress like I used to dress. Some say I have a certain smell on me that's not pleasant to be around. But it certainly can't be this alcohol that I've been drinking that got me here. What is your truth?
Yeah,
What is
yeah,
your truth? Hmm. Some say, I got tired of drinking. I drank to the point where I just got tired of drinking, and then I turned the corner, and I traveled down that road, and I met this girl, and she had this little piece of a white crystal thing that she had. It wasn't big at all, but she would put it into this pipe, and smoke would come from it. And I watched her do it a couple of times, and I watched her, and then upon watching her, she asked me, "Did I want some?" And I didn't know what it was, and I took that little, I guess she called it a pipe, and I put it in my mouth, and she put some fire on it, and I inhaled the biggest I could, and then it went into my system, and I felt a feeling I never felt before. And now it's 30 years later, and all the things that I used to have. I can remember I had the nicest home, I had the nicest cars, I had the clothes, that the best clothes that money could buy. Man, I had everything. People would come to me for everything because they knew I had it. And now I'm out here begging for nickels and pennies and dimes. It couldn't be this smoke that I've been smoking that got me here. What is your truth? What is your truth? And see, that's the thing right there that a lot of people don't want to deal with, man. I met this girl, and I've never, had any sexual experiences. This is just something I just never done because I was so focused on doing my schoolwork, and I was making such great. I was top of the class. I was going to graduate top of my class. All these awards, I was going to get them all. I was going to be the talk of the town. But she introduced me to this thing called sex. And before you know it, only thing I wanted to do is be laying down with her somewhere. And every chance we get, every chance we got, I, I even missed. Well, I missed a lot of class. I went from being the teacher's pet to the one the teacher want to forget because I wouldn't do my work, and I just I tried to sit in that classroom, and only thing I could think about is her. and I would sometimes make excuses to get out of that classroom so I could go and hang out with her. Now I stand before you and I failed out of school. I failed out of school. I wish I could go back, but shame won't let me go back because I know what I used to be. I know the grades I used to make. I know that the teacher loved me so much. I can't go. I can't show my face in that school again. Is that pride was destroying you? Is that pride destroying you? You can go back, but sometimes pride stands in the way. What is your truth, brother? VP, talk to me.
I was one of the biggest things I learned going through these theology studies is a term called the ego. I don't ever if you ever heard that edging God out. I don't
Yes,
know if
sir.
you ever heard it
Yes,
that
sir.
put that way before.
Yes,
And
sir.
once that hit me, I realized how much your ego
Mm-hmm.
um, is overcoming God. So you're in church all the time, and you hear people say, "Well, what are you feeding? Which animal are you feed more?" Um, because that's the one that your spirit is going towards. So if you're feeding it Netflix more, the Bible less, then that's where you're going. But I also want to urge people to think of what are you edging God out of? Period. What are you edging Him out of? So even it's easy to use those the topological things of Netflix and drugs and stuff, but if he's not if you're edging him out of trust in your life, or if you're edging him out of uh, even in your marriage, if you're edging him out of the sensuality in your life, because the Song of Solomon's and a lot of Psalms is very sensual, and if you don't put God in and even in your love life, He's not going to be there. And when I say put him in your love life, I don't mean like you know
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you being derogatory with God, but more of a when it comes to how if you passionately and reverently seek God and you did that same thing for your marriage, you'd be surprised how it changes your love life. You'd be surprised how if you seek your husband or seek your wife the way you seek God. And that could tell you also how much you egg God out, because if you ain't seeking God that way, that means you ain't seeking your spouse or your significant other that way either. Because
Mm-hmm.
that God comes first, and the next thing that He put on this earth was marriage, was
Yes.
Adam and Eve. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what you should be seeking. But if you're a Christian in marriage, all this other stuff comes afterwards. Because your partner is comparable to you, they gonna make sure you get there. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're edging God out of your decisions, I've learned to tithe, because that I believe in that now. Because when you stop tithing and you start edging God out of your money, you realize how much He start taking back from you when it comes to not money, not financial blessings, but the blessings of other people just randomly doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be shocked how edging Him out of your finances and your mental stability, and especially spiritual one. The
Mm-hmm.
I had to find a verse where it's in one of the smaller books in the middle, where it's saying the enemy is always creeping and coming through the windows, and they expect, and a lot of people keep their doors open or their windows open, not expecting the enemy to crawl through that way. And what's happening, just like your alcohol example, it's never a fast takeover. It's always small. So
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
you if you're even though you may seem like you got your window cracked all the way, you'll end up letting something in. A breeze will always get through as long as
Mm-hmm.
there's space for it to come in.
Yes,
And
sir.
and
Yes.
that could be the smallest part of edging God out of your life. So pride.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know, man.
yeah.
Is God telling? Is he pranking me right now? Like I literally had a post 2 days ago,
Mm-hmm.
3 days ago, speaking um on pride and having a haughty spirit and what that
Yes, sir.
meant, because having so pride is having that self awareness of over congratulating yourself for doing something enough to
Mm-hmm.
where you ignore other people's advice about it. So just like you saying, well, it ain't the alcohol that's making me crazy, but everybody around you saying, well, you drink a little too much.
Yeah, yeah.
So being prideful is before destruction. So if
Mm,
people are saying to you, you drink too much, man, you might have a problem, and you saying, nah, I ain't got no problem with the drunk. I'm king drinker. You know what I'm saying? I come around, I empty kegs on my own. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
pride before destruction. But then
Mm-hmm.
now you emptying kegs on your own, and that's why people keep getting the spirit wrong. I mean the scripture wrong. Now that you're so full of pride, that's where the
Mm-hmm.
fall comes. So now
Yes, sir.
that now you're so full of pride, destruction is laid out ahead of you. But because you don't know how to identify it or you don't know how to repent from it, now there's a fall that's gonna come from it. Now you're up here turning kegs upside down, but you lose who you are in identity and become, you know, a very promiscuous, a very open mouth person, slapping somebody or touching somebody's girl, and now you're in a fight. Or you think you so sober that you get in a car and you kill someone.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
for I learned my pride was not doing God's work for him. So like I
Mm-hmm.
say, I learned here lately. God had to sit me down. People call me all the time and ask for advice, and I listen, and then I give them my very open answer. It's not like because I don't judge people. It's not for me to judge. So I give a very open answer. But in that you build up this thing like I am. Oh God put me for this. He, I am. That's not what it was. It's for the glory of Him. Because I always say, thank God for us having this conversation because you never. I got something from you. You got something from me. But I was starting
Mm-hmm.
to get to a point where I was starting to think I was doing God work. So I'm like, I being able to discern a little better and stuff like that. And I was put these expectations on people and getting upset. And by doing that, I was getting prideful because I was like, you know what? I know I'm right. I know this is this and this and that, but the people wasn't doing it in a manner that I thought so. And what that means is you don't do God's work. You don't see His good in things. You don't see. And that was my example of edging God out of a situation. Is it's not me to dictate that is what God needed to be done in his life. Like He used a prostitute to save his travelers. That
Yes,
might
sir.
not have been on people's
Mm-hmm.
idea of what God should be doing. But as long as you only think of God in one way, you're edging Him out and putting
Yep.
yourself in there, which is pride. And that was a pride that I found myself in because I was starting to get destructive with it. I was starting to destroy everything around me because I thought I had to be right, and that's not the case. Sometimes He'll show you in a different manner that just because people tell you this is who I am, I can show you differently
Mm-hmm.
and still be blessed.
And see, you said something. You said something, man. A lot of times we get so caught up in thinking that we're doing God's work, but we can't do God's work. We can't. And so what we have to do is allow Him to use us in the way that He wants to use us. And just like with Moses, Moses said, "Well, I can't go. I can't go in and speak to your people. I have a stuttering problem, a stuttering situation going on. And I can't do it." He said, "Listen, I called you. Get Aaron, get your brother Aaron, take him with you. But I called you to do this assignment. This is your assignment. Take him with you,
Mm-hmm.
but this is your assignment." And so and God, and see, people been saying this for forever, man. God don't call the prepared ones. He prepared the ones that He called. He prepares the one that He calls to go out there and do whatever it is. Go out there and BB, go out there, man, and push that mountain to the side. Push that mountain to the side. And I can't move no mountain. I didn't ask you what you could do in your physical mind. I told you to go over there and move that mountain. Push it to the side. Push it to the left. Just
Mm-hmm.
push that mountain. Now, in our mind, we thinking that, man, this is, man, God lost His mind, man. He telling me to go there, and man, He telling me to go over there and move. Man, what is going on? And see, we look at how small we are and how big that mountain is, and we think in our mind, there's no way, this is impossible. But if only you had the faith the size of a mustard seed, if he's tell you to go do it, you go put your hands on that mountain and you push it the direction he tell you to push it in, and be amazed as that mountain moves. Be amazed as that mountain moves. Now, the question is, what mountain are we talking about? Because we all have mountains in our lives. We all have mountains in our lives. So what mountain are we talking about? What is and again, the phone, man, this conversation is a good conversation. I'm definitely enjoying it, and I think God is lining this thing up in a way that he's doing it. But my thing is, man, I think people are afraid to call in on today, man. I think we don't have half our people here. I think they're afraid. I think this topic, man, done scared them off. It'll scare them off, but at the same time, man, I think we're helping some people. So my question is, what are those mountains that we're talking about sometimes? Talk to me, VP.
Mountains, you know, people make mountains out of molehills. I think some of the biggest mountains so the molehills for people would be, and it seems like a mountains, but it could be financial situations, like living arrangements, seem like mountains, but they're really molehills. Some of your mountains would be things that you don't want to identify as an issue, and don't want to be able to overcome on your own, or you don't want people to know that you have. And what's crazy is because you're trying to hide it, but it's a mountain. So in the background is this huge problem, even though you're standing in front of it. The mountains is actually getting all the visual experience and accolades that you should. So for someone, a mountain would be being able to be openly or naked with. So speaking with me, I have a lot of references when it comes back to marriage, because that's where I learned God the most. This marriage and raising my son has taught me God the most out of a lot of things. So a mountain would be, do you have the capability to open up and be naked with your spouse, and knowing that you don't know what the outcome is going to be from them. So you and it could be, it don't have to be adultery or cheating. It could be, you know what, I opened up another bank account or credit card somewhere, and I've been spending this money off to the side, and you ain't know nothing about it. But knowing that your spouse and how they feel about finances, or you've been living a certain lifestyle to make them think that you didn't have this, being able to open up and say this to them, it could be a mountain. What if God is asking you? What if God is asking you to get on a boat without Him and start and ride off into the middle of the lake and a storm comes? Do you forget you still had it? Just like you forgot that He was the one that sent you there. So a lot of people forget, they're led into these wildernesses and these mountains as a test of faith, especially if you're really in your Christian walk and you're saying to God. A lot of people ask for increase, but don't know what increase means. It don't mean give me this increase while I'm still in this apartment. Let me have the luxuries of a 5-bedroom house, but I want to live in a 2-bedroom apartment. You can't fill your apartment with 5 bedrooms worth of stuff and think you can still stay there. Yeah. You gonna have to do what you need to do to get out of this apartment. You're going to have to test the waters. Maybe you got to do 2 jobs. That's something you ain't ever done before, but that's a mountain to some people. Over mental anguish and mental health is a mountain, because some people don't feel like they have what it takes to overcome certain lifestyles that they've always known, or living up to expectations that they didn't think they could. Always looking to feel in a certain way. About individuals or circumstances become mountains because you start to listen to the deceiver and the games that is played with that.
Yep. It's a lot. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I find that when we come into the face of the mountain and we're at the bottom of it, looking up, depending, Mount Everest, or just to put one in perspective, the base of the mountain is is 3-4 times as big as the peak. So the base of the mountain is way wider, longer than the height of the mountain itself. And that's where a lot of people get stuck, is they never want to climb. They want to just look at the mountain. Look how vast and massive this is. But the thing about a mountain, most mountains have peaks. So even though the bottom may be the hardest part, as you start to climb to the top, you start to realize this is getting easier and easier. Now, let's keep it in human perspective. As you get to the top of the mountain, the air gets thinner. So it is getting harder to breathe and harder to move. But as a visual, the hardest part for you to climb would be the base. Just getting started. Just being able to put your foot on it and say, I'm going to make this climb up. Because as you most mountains are, so things pour downhill. Erosion happens downhill. So there's no way for water to hit it from the top, and then it becomes an upside down pyramid, and the base be the skinnier part. That would be an unbalance of nature and God, period. But you have to visually say this to yourself. Like, you can't look at a mountain and be like, well, the mountain's big overall, period. You have to be able to, with faith, say, all right, the hardest part at the beginning.
Yes, sir.
And as long as I trust God, I'm gonna keep moving up this mountain, but I'm understanding that I don't have to keep the same climb. I don't have to use the same effort, because it gets smoother at the top, because that's where most of the erosion happens, where you have a lot of jagged pieces at the bottom, and that's the part that scares you the most.
Exactly. We got a caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Rico, calling from Madison, Alabama. Grand Rising, fellas.
Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. Feeling awesome. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, man. Look, we got a conversation going. You been listening?
Yeah, I've been listening. To it.
Talk to me, brother. What is your truth? If we had to pull back all your layers, man, of everything, peel all the things off the onion and get to the center of the core, the marrow of the bone marrow, or marrow, however people say that, in your life. Rico, what is your truth?
Oh, I got a lot of different truths. You know, the biggest truth is that you have to hold yourself accountable for the decisions that you make, especially when you knew better. You know, that's one truth. Another truth is sometimes you can't hold things against yourself if you didn't know any better. So, something, and that's a good thing for a lot of people to hear, because sometimes people leave themselves in a situation because they hold things against themselves that they couldn't do anything about. Like when I was young and I saw the people on the rescue squad let that man die in front of me. I was too young to do anything about it, but at the same time, I was almost in the situation that girl was that watched George Floyd. It played over and over and over in my head again, and I was frustrated. I couldn't do nothing about it. I couldn't do nothing but watch. I wish I knew CPR better, because at that point in time I didn't know it. So it was so many things that I went through guilt-wise, because I knew, number one, it wasn't my fault that they lied and they were racist and didn't want to give him CPR, put their lips on his. But at the same time, it took me a while to realize you couldn't do nothing about that, Rico. You were too young. You just in the 7th grade.
Yeah.
You were only 12. Yeah, you were smart. Yeah, it was, and this is where pride comes in too. See, I felt like they were disrespecting not only all the black people out there, but me. Because at my age, I knew for them to be on that ambulance that they had to know CPR. Each one. But we were black. We didn't know no better. So we were supposed to fall for the acting job. Please, somebody, we don't know CPR. Just lying. Like they were comfortable nobody was going to report them or ask for an investigation. because they know we'll buy anything they tell us sometimes. Or maybe we're just cowards. I don't know. But my pride is what let me not let that go. It's because I knew that I was smarter than that, that I knew better than that. So it was funny that y'all started talking about pride and moving mountains, because it's really something that people need to understand, that you have to put a logical perception or viewpoint on certain things. But see, it's easy to understand how pride can get confused, because you have foolish pride, but then you have the same pride that makes you proud to be an American. You sing about it. I'm proud to be. So when you hear that song, and then you walk around with all this patriotism and your chest stuck out as a soldier or whatever, you were proud to serve for this military, on behalf of the military corporations that they fight for. You know, so you can have foolish pride, but then at the same time, you still can have pride as a black person, or pride for the person that comes from a certain place, maybe out of poverty. So, I mean, you know, I think it's about discerning foolish pride. You know, you hear people say that about moving mountains, and it's easy to understand how somebody can perceive that as a young child and then keep that thought process in their head. Because if they could picture somebody actually physically moving a mountain, they can also picture somebody parting a sea.
Come on. Yeah, that's good.
You get what I'm saying? So if he actually parted that sea, and nobody built a boat big enough to part those terrible waves, you know, because I'm pretty sure what they were saying is that the sea, the current in the sea was so terrible that it was hard for them to cross it or swim it or whatever. So they had to build a boat beyond what the normal boats they had to build. But let the story be told, Moses parted it and made it just spread apart. Okay, so if he did that, why can't somebody get on the other side of a mountain and move it?
Exactly.
Why ain't somebody probably actually went and did an investigation to prove that it actually happened. This actually happened. The mountain base moved 20 feet in diameter to the west. You can tell it was original. So here it is. People don't misperceive that story, not understanding that the mountain is the hurdles. The mountain is the haters. You know, you hear people say, I got haters. Those are mountains.
Yes, sir.
So you got to move them out the way, get around them, keep moving, go around it or over it. And that's how you move that mountain out of your head. So it's about association. You know, when you start talking about pride, you start talking about truth, you start talking about Bible stories, moving mountains and parting seas. It's about associating it with understanding our limitations as human beings. Some things we just can't do. I don't care how much Bible you read. Some things we just not fixing to be able to do, not with the snap of our fingers.
Exactly.
So you have to understand, you got to get around that obstacle. You can still accomplish that goal, but you just ain't gonna be able to do it with ease. You got to use your brain, use some logic.
And see, and that's the thing right there. That's a big part of it, man. I'm glad you brought that into the conversation, because those mountains could be our family members, our friends, co-workers, church members, people that go to the same mosque with you, or wherever. It could that could be those very mountains that we have to move. We got another caller. I want to go to the caller, but just like I said, a lot of time, even Jesus said, let this cup pass me by. But he said, in his next breath, he said, but Father, let thy will be done, not my will, but thy will. And so he had the faith and he had the confidence. He knew that if I walk with my Father, if I walk with him, I will be all right. Regardless of what happened to me, I will be all right. We got another caller from the 816 area code. 816 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Kansas City, K with E.
K with an E. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
No, blessed as can be.
Good deal. Good deal. We're asking the question, what is your truth? Now, Kay, if you had to be that oak tree, and we referenced this earlier, if you had to be that oak tree in the wintertime, now in the summertime, it's full of leaves, and you can't see a lot of the impurities. You can't see a lot of the ugly parts of this tree because they have the leaves on it and it's covered with leaves. But if you had to be that oak tree in the wintertime with no leaves, what is your truth?
What would be my truth?
Yeah, what is your truth?
loyalty, my faith.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if I were to come to you, I say, Kay, I need you to tell me what is your truth, and you have to define absolutely what is your truth. What would you tell me that truth is? And I need you to dig deep into your bone marrow and tell me what your truth is.
My faith, my loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
I present myself.
See, those are attributes. Those are attributes of you. That's not your that's not your truth. Those are attributes. There's a difference between your attributes and your truth.
Well, I would have to say my truth. I mean, I don't know what you looking for.
No, and see that what you're doing right now is perfect. It is absolutely perfect, because I get this a lot when I ask people this question: what is your truth? A lot of people, honestly speaking, they really don't know. They really don't know, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad. Go ahead.
That's my personal truth. Is what I believe in. I believe in my faith. I believe in my honesty. I believe in me. My truth. Like, what do you mean? That's my truth. I can't do it no better than that. That's my personal truth.
Okay.
What I got.
Go ahead.
What my truth is, like, what I have to do and how people look at me and be like, oh wow, geez, my opinion, my experience, all that comes out in my truth. They be like, wow, she's really the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just what it is. It's how you present yourself and how people may look at you. And if you present yourself to be a trustworthy person and your experience, speak out for you, then that's your truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I met her at the reggae thing. I worked the Reggae Fest this weekend in Kansas City, the 3rd and the 4th. And I went to a lady's booth that had these eyeglasses. And I told her about my event. And I wanted them to come. Are y'all from Kansas City? She said, yes. And she said, you know what? It's just something about your smile, your spirit. And she just went on and on and on and on and on. And before she knew it, she read me. Like, literally, she read me. She told me, you do a lot in the community, and you faithful. You on some gospel stuff. You do some gospel stuff. That's that, right? That's that prayer line I do. And when I get off that prayer line, I get on here with y'all. She literally read me because it spoke out for itself. My personality spoke out. That's the truth. Okay. The truth will come out of you. It depends on how you prepare yourself.
That's the truth. Those are the truths of some of the things that you do that make up. I said it like this earlier. A cake. A cake, regardless of whatever kind of cake that you're looking at, or that's on the table before you, that cake would not be that cake without that batter. Without that batter, that cake won't be a cake. I mean, you could put pineapples or whatever you want to put in that cake, chocolate chips or whatever you want to put in that cake. But those are things. Those are attributes of that cake. But without that batter, you won't have a cake. Rico, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I look at most people's truth is whatever they consistently do, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. You know how some people could do it second nature, and then they may deny that that's who they are, but we know that's who they are because we are observing them, and they tend to have this habit of doing certain things because that's just who they are. They don't realize that they're doing it. They don't realize whatever this habit or behavior or action is. So, I think that's your consistency. Maybe it's activism. You might say to yourself, I heard on VP say earlier how people like to call him and ask for advice. Man, I get so sick of it sometimes, man. I done been about to tears before because I'm like, I get tired of hearing other people's problems and emotions. Then I ain't got nobody to call on. And it still happens. And I'm going to tell you, this is what my consistency is. I ain't got time to listen to nobody else's problem. Ain't nobody got time to listen. Mine don't call me no more. Then just as soon as about 2 or 3 weeks pass, somebody I ain't heard from out the blue ring my number, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to ignore them because if this is the last time I can hear from them, I don't want to be like, well, he called me and I should have answered the phone, or she spoke to me and told me to text her, and I didn't never. So I answered the phone. because my conscience won't allow me
Mm-hmm.
to leave that opportunity out there. This might, cause you see, one thing is the reality is that you sneeze and you'll be off this bad boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not guaranteed you might be able to talk to this person. And if you care about them, even though you're tired of hearing people problems, you still gonna miss them if something happens.
Mm-hmm.
So what's gonna end up overruling everything is the fact that you're gonna respect the fact that this might not be the last time you talk to this person.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get on the phone with them, and here they go. They might ask you a few questions every now and then, and here comes the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody don't rub them the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they'll come back and they'll tell you, that's why I called you, because I knew I could talk to you and get some kind of clarity on this. I wonder, was it me or was I right the way I was feeling? And I'm like, man, it's funny how everybody can call me for this consultation. You know what? I think my truth is that this is what I should have went in business for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I think I might need to go to school,
Mm-hmm.
get certified, and start charging people instead of getting it away for free.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
my truth is. I avoided it.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you have to realize what your truth is by knowing what you're good at.
Mm-hmm.
You might not even realize your quality.
Come on.
That's another one of your truth. What is your quality?
Mm-hmm.
What is your value? And if your value is to assist people or represent them or just support them in being better, then that's your truth.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that identifying it and then finding a way to make a living off of it, because the best way for you to be successful is to get paid off of what you're doing, what you're good at.
Yeah. Yeah. And an old man told me a long time ago, I'm sure y'all have heard people say this. He said, man, look here, I never worked a day in my life. And at first I was a younger person at that time. I didn't understand what he was saying. But he said, I never worked a day in my life. Now this dude was like 60, 70 something years old. I said, what you mean, man? You never worked? He said, nah, I never worked a day in my life, young man. And I'm looking at him, man, what, how you eat? How you do? He said, no. He said, you don't understand. He said, I found what I loved, and I did that my entire life. And it provided me a great income, a great house, a great home, everything I needed. It provided for me. But I did, it wasn't work. Because if you do what you love, it's not work. Find something that you love. Find what your truth is. And just like Rico just said, find what your truth is and do that. You'll never work, because that's not, if you're doing what you love, it's not work. You're enjoying what you're doing. Find what that is. VP, are you still with us, brother? VP, you there? I think VP, I'll step away for a second. K with an E, talk to me, sis. Talk to me. K looking for her mute.
I'm trying to, no, I'm fixing me some fried rice.
Oh. Well, look here. Look, we all like fried rice now.
You said, what did you just say? You just said something very powerful, and I was trying to remember. That's in the word.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the word. It said, God said you find something that you can do good with your hands,
Mm-hmm.
and you make the best of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In the word. So,
and see, and that's the thing. The old man told me, he said, man, I never worked a day in my life, K. And like I said, I was younger at that time. I didn't understand. But he meant what he said. And it was true. It was in truth.
but I work, but I didn't consider myself as working because I enjoyed doing nursing when I did nursing. When I opened up my daycare, I enjoyed doing daycare because I love babies and elderly people. That's my passion.
Mm-hmm.
And I never had with it. When I went into mentally ill, when I tell y'all, I started out going to work dressed up every day, like literally. I didn't like it. I went to work and the girls, the other color was upset because all the men was buying me breakfast, buying me lunch. But I was just that type of person. I ain't never dated out my race. They didn't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
And they called the office. Well, her clothes is inappropriate. I went to pick my check up and they were like, hey, what did you wear to work today? I said, well, I have on. They was like, oh, wow. Well, you look very nice. They complimented me, and then they told me what the girls had said. So they didn't send me back to the bank to do no more bank work. So I had to go to work clean as a whistle because I was working at a bank.
Mm-hmm.
I said, forget this. They call haters. So I learned you don't give your hairs no airtime.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank God for that. That was a lesson. That was a sermon 2 weeks ago. So then I went and did nursing, and I had to wear a uniform every day. I didn't want to go to work clean as a whistle no more, and it still was a problem. Then I went into mentally health, and I could wear whatever I want to wear because we had to teach them how to dress too. So they used to be like, "Hey, come to work clean, smelling good. I want to look like you, Miss K." So I was able to take my clients to get free clothes. They got their hair done, they got their nails done, and the mamas came and took 2 of them home. We taking them home.
Mm-hmm.
She done taught them how to take care of themselves, and next thing I know, that's how I found out the system was crooked, because I got 2 clients sent home. That made room for 2 more clients to need help. Instead of them looking at it like that, they looked at it like, the state, we missing money now. Case in the client's home.
Okay.
So they put me in the mix home.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to figure out something. I know you're gonna help me. I know you're gonna help me understand it. I know you can help me understand it. But we talking about the truth. Now, what did that have to do with the truth?
Oh, that was the truth. They said the truth.
Rico. Okay.
You missed the whole thing. I knew you was gonna miss it.
Yeah.
Right
whoa, that's something all the way on my head. Woo, I'm down here looking up, trying to figure out what the world. I'm sitting here looking up, trying to figure out what the world is going on. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I mean, I was glad she brought that up about nursing.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you start talking about somebody's truth, you start talking about their passion.
Yeah.
What they really have a passion for. And so when she said that about nursing, that was big, because I say this all the time. Most of these, I'm going to say 85, and this is my opinion. I ain't looked nothing up, but it's just from my observation of seeing how things go in doctors' offices and hospitals now. I'm going to say 80 to 85% of these nurses we have now are only in nursing because they heard it pays good.
Yep.
Oh, what you gonna do yourself? What you gonna do? Well, nursing pay good. If I was you, I'd go to school for nursing. So here it is. You got people going to school for the money to be nurses and doctors, but they ain't got the compassion that the original nurse said. See, if you were really and truly a good nurse or a doctor, you would do it for free.
Come on.
You might be broke all the time, because sometimes people can't afford what the medical system demands for their survival and their upkeep. So what you'll end up doing is saying, you know what, man, as a doctor or a nurse, I just can't sit back and watch somebody go downhill like this. I know I ain't getting paid for it, but I got to do what I got to do. And you start taking care of these people. That's your truth. You really are a caregiver. Not these other people that out here saying, well, you know what, man, I think I'm just going to quit this job right now and go and be a traveling nurse. I heard they make big money, $10,000 in 2 or 3 months. Well, what about the patients that you had? Do you have a relationship with them? I hear some nurses, and don't get me wrong, you got to be a special person to be a nurse or a doctor, because some of those people actually do get attached to their patients. And when their patients leave here, especially these older ones working in the nursing home, CNAs and stuff like that, oh man, it gets hard. It gets hard, so you got to be built right for that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So that's where your truth really comes in. Because if you ain't built right to handle the family of the mourning family of a patient that just passed away, of a child that just got lost in a car accident, and you work in the ER and you got to be the one to come break the news to them. If you just in there doing a job, when you're gone, yeah, she ain't make it, y'all.
Wow.
No, that ain't gonna get it.
No.
You show up for work every day. I work hard for the money. I work hard to pay and play, to do the things I do. I work hard to live my best life. But are you a quality person? Or you just working that job so you can live your best life? So that's where that truth comes in.
Exactly.
Because sometimes you're gonna do things without any reward. Or the reward is going to be just to accomplish the goal of getting that person into a better position.
Exactly. Friday, good
morning. He missed that. I was trying to let him know.
That what it was?
I did that from 89 to 2013, I think.
Well, listen. Bless that baby heart, because I sure missed it. Bless the baby heart, Lord. How much bless the baby heart, because I sure missed it. Oh Lord.
Talking about they back hurt, they all broke down and stuff. I ain't broke down.
Okay. All right. Well, look, I'm glad you're not broke down. I'm so glad. Bless your baby heart. Bless your baby
I
heart.
just what I was doing. I didn't do it for the money.
What good? What good? Hey, hold on for a minute. Friday, good morning. How you doing? Where my brother go?
Good morning. He went to go make a food run.
Oh, okay. You don't sit the man, Lord, my Jesus. But we're talking about today. We're talking about what is your truth. Now, if we could pull back all the layers on Friday's life and deal with what is your truth, Friday, what is your truth?
This is a great topic and a wonderful question. My ultimate truth is be who I am, even if it makes other people uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm walking
Watch
through.
this. Watch this. Is that your truth, or is that an attribute of you?
It's my truth, because it's something that I'm ever going towards, because it's not something that's welcomed.
Mm-hmm.
And so learning how being shown to me or being identified early on doesn't mean that that's how I've lived the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And so because you learn as you mature how to let things roll off your back like water, and like a duck's back, water on the duck's back, and how to navigate that. And ultimately, as it parallels with my faith walk, leaning more into my faith then gave me more ability to operate in that truth. And
Mm-hmm.
so because there were many situations that occur and has occurred throughout my life, to where considering the others people's feelings to a fault, or in a not saying I'm being humble, but then really I'm just cowarding in a situation where I'm supposed to stand up in it for myself or for others, because it made other people uncomfortable, or it was uncomfortable for me to
Mm-hmm.
be in that uncomfortable situation, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
more uncomfortable for me. So it's easier to then conform enough to alleviate that discomfort versus just standing in that truth, even
Mm-hmm.
though it wasn't what it's supposed to be. So for me, the scripture that has helped that process is actually when Peter sees Jesus walking on the water. Now all the disciples have been just with Jesus, hands-on experience and participating in the miracle that took place, to the
Mm-hmm.
tune of taking the scraps on the boat, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so they see him in the storm and they're like, whoa, it's a ghost. Now you would think after all this time they spent and seen and had participated in his miracles and the supernatural, that seeing Jesus walk on water wouldn't be something startling, because he was, operating in his truth, right? And he never lost focus of that. And so, but Peter then was like, okay, all right, you say it's you, so if it's you, right, I'm gonna focus on you, the truth, and I'm going to call me, and I'm gonna come. And so he said, come, and he goes. And so while he's focused on that truth, the storm didn't stop. It was always happening. It always will be happening. But he experienced peace and an ability to walk in that, as long as he focused on that. And so that process, that passage really has stuck and spoke with me repeatedly, because of the fact that then now it just reminds me that the storm is uncomfortable. The waves stings, when it's whipping around, and your boat can seem flooded and it could just seem very tumultuous at the time. But if I focus on operating in that truth and focusing on that truth, then I'll have that peace. And even though the storm's raging around me, it'll be okay. So then with that maturity and growth, then now I can operate in that truth for me a lot more. So in that process, what also has been truth in that same parallel is that like I said, in conforming in those situations, that meant that I lied. It made means or has meant that I withhold information. I wasn't my best self. You know what I'm saying? Which never produced or rendered a better outcome for me. I end up either having to do with somebody else.
Let me ask you this question. I want to take this question. Rico, be on standby. I want you to answer this question as well. At what age do you or most people stop listening to what other people say is their truth and dig into what their actual truth is?
I think it's a different age for different people. Once they get to that place of one, enough being enough, and two, just being confident in themselves, which comes with maturity, and that can arrive at different people for different time frames. For me, it's an ongoing process still.
Wow. Rico, what do you say to that, man? At what age did you stop listening to what other people's definition of your truth and start dealing with what is your actual truth?
Oh man, I'll say it wasn't an age. It was the certain people that I decided to listen to and not listen to. Because at a young age, you know what I'm saying, I was still learning. And in some instances where I thought I knew and I thought I was smarter and I thought I had figured it out, I was still gullible and young. I still hadn't had enough experience to understand that it could have been so many other ways that certain situations happen, the ways that I could perceive certain situations. So, you know, I'm gonna say it was that was something that happened over time. Because even as a youth, there was some people I would listen to, I wouldn't. It didn't take much for you to show me that I couldn't trust you, and I would leave you alone.
Yeah.
So, you know, I really can't put an age limit on that. The only thing I could do is put that on the people, and the type of people that I encountered. You know, it was up to them whether or not I trusted them. It wasn't really an age put on it, because and like I said a second ago, when I was young, I was probably a lot more wise than most people my age. You know, I wasn't like the wisest child on the planet, but at the same time, you know, I was beyond my years. So I related to older people more, like my grandmother.
Yeah.
It was things that I didn't agree with my mother and father, but I manipulated it to my favor. But it was things that they were doing that I knew was wrong. So I used that as an opportunity to do wrong myself. Then when they want to chastise me, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Y'all trying to tell me to be right and be good, but y'all been bad. Let me run to my grandmama. Don't you whip that boy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I started finding out how to maneuver and accomplish the goal that I wanted to accomplish. So, you know, in the process of that, I learned, well, okay, I can't trust my mama now. She just lied. I can't trust my daddy. He being sneaky. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He just asked her what she been, and she lied about what she been. So, you know, that started making me realize then, okay, I got to stop taking people's word for stuff, because they are not being honest. See, you can be naive and gullible and take people for their word. But as you get older, you start realizing that sometimes people use words just to get what they need to get, to fit their agenda.
Exactly.
So you have to be better at discerning.
Exactly. That's good. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Hey, Kurt, we could barely hear you, brother. Got a lot of stuff. Are you talking directly into the phone? Got a lot of stuff going on. We could barely hear you.
Yeah, I'm talking directly into the phone. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
There you go. Kurt, I want to ask you a question, brother. I want you to become that oak tree in the wintertime. I want you to become that oak tree in the wintertime. There's no leaves on you. So everything what's there is absolutely there. Everybody can see it. And I'm asking a question like this. What is your absolute truth, Curtis? What is your truth?
My truth?
Yes.
My truth is that I'm going to be here until the end of time.
Mm-hmm.
My truth is, like, my truth is I've been battered, I've been bruised, I've been shaken, I've been torn, I've been cut down, I've been lifted up. Life is not to sound cliches, but life ain't been no crystal stairs. You know what I mean? It's had holes in it, cracks, bruises, you know what I mean? But it's life. So, like, the representation of an oak tree, it's kind of crazy you asked me that, because I've done that before. I actually started writing a play that I really need to get back on. Thank you, because it came to me last night to get back on, and I just kind of blew it off. But I wrote I started writing a play called Even the Bench Has Feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And the play is, the basic synopsis of the play is that if you ever want to know the life of a given community, all you got to do is go to the nearest park.
Mm-hmm.
And that park can kind of tell you what's been going on. If it's dilapidated and it's got trash everywhere and this, that, and the third, you'll see the foliage is different. The trees are different. Everything looks a little different. Everything looks like it's dying.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start to see revitalization come to that very same park, then you start to see that community start to change. And so when I look at my life in terms of an oak tree, I look at it from the perspective of, hey, man, I've been battered, I've been bruised, I've been torn up, I've been cut up. You know, all of the things that an oak tree could go through in the midst of 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. VP, you back with us, brother? VP, you there? VP doing some stuff over there. I don't know what my brother doing over there.
I don't know, man. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can't see you though.
Oh, my son got me ripping and running. I didn't want you to see it though. I was trying to my mute button. I was trying to get you last time, and the mute wasn't working fast enough. But I had hung up and came back. Yeah.
Okay. What's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
So I think I'm probably like 4 conversations back now that I didn't try to hang up and come, but I wanted to speak on Rico and the young ladies' comparisons of
All right.
the from her going from nursing school and identifying some of the gifts you have to get to your truth. And one of the things I found myself was kind of like Rico. I found that I was always being called, but nobody was there for me. And as Curtis had just brought up very eloquently, that living your truth is going through the seasons, even through the rough, but not understanding that is what you're supposed to be doing. So we have our like, I don't want to generalize it and say I'm an oak tree and I got and seasons come and go and it's hot and cold and I'll weather the storm. That's all base level things. Like Rico was saying, you have to be able to put your own personality, your own experiences in that to identify what it is, the truth that you're trying to get out of it. So spitting scriptures all the time, you ain't getting no truth out of it. You just speaking the truth. You speaking the word, but you're not getting nothing out of the word. So I had to run to the phone. Let me get my breath back. I'm old. So I realized my truth. I was 37. So that was not even a year ago. A year ago, it took me to realize I was sick and tired of other people telling me what my truth was. Because people will look at you and base their generalization off of what they feel your capabilities are without really knowing who you are. I could give you everything that you're looking for because I can make myself be that way, but deep down, I'm not that type of person. And that's the truth. The truth is that having the ability to tell somebody, I don't like doing that. Like we were having a conversation earlier about do you have what it takes to cut off the bloodsuckers? Those people they're stopping you from getting covered. As we were saying, those people who don't want to see you be saved and and see you try to live a better lifestyle. Do you have what it takes to do that? And unless that's when you know your truth. Because I heard Shay speak of, going into the God, Jesus had pushed them into, or not pushed them, but led them into the storm, and being surrounded by that storm, they forgot that God had already performed these miracles beforehand. And that's where people want you to be at. They want you to be in the storm and forget that you had already seen miracles and wonders done before. And if you don't have in you while in the storm, because that's where you're going to face your truth. That's where you're going to go. If it's somebody that you need to tell, you know what, this relationship ain't going to work out, or if it's a business that you need to cut off, or it's education that you ain't been chasing, you've been putting off, and for you to get to the next level, it's time for you to do it while you're in the storm. It ain't when you're calm and you're looking out. It's while you're in the storm, or while you, like we were saying, at the base of the mountain.
Yeah.
And you're looking up and you're saying to this might be worse than I thought. But you got to remember that you have to remember your truth. But you can't. And I'm saying it because I've kind of awakened to my truth. So it is peeling back the layers. The young lady was saying about when she was going through the different jobs, but she had felt that people were already pointing out her love as something that one of her truths. She could identify me as an attribute. And I think she was going around it, but she was trying to say what it is, but putting all the, it was sugarcoating with the things of the truth. But her truth is a certain type of love that she provides to people, or insight or something that she provides to people. That's her truth. And it took her saying, I'm not going to deal with this, to realize that her falling into her truth is what it is. Of Rico saying, maybe I should start charging people for this, but is your truth to charge them for it? Because that takes a different type of personality to look at a person and say, you're worth this much to me. My advice to you is worth this much to me. So then people try to change what they believe your advice is. Is it still the truth once you start charging somebody for it? Are
Rico,
those same people still going to come to you in that same manner?
Rico, what do you say to that? Rico, you there?
That's something that I always thought about. Yeah, I am. That's something that I always thought about. That's probably the reason why I never went that route of actually charging people. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I call myself dropping out of college and getting out of these streets selling dope, man, you know how many people got free dope from me? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just kind-hearted, man.
Yeah.
Just free-hearted, man. I mean, just, didn't want to see them pawn the kids' Christmas. And I knew they were going to pawn that Christmas. So what I said, I would go ahead and give it to them, and I'll keep it, and then I'll give it back to them. I won't even make them pay it back to me. Because I was thinking about those children. So it was like, I still had that compassion and that truth in me. So it's hard. And sometimes it's hard to charge people when you know that it's coming from the kindness or the goodness of your heart.
Yeah.
When it's coming straight from the heart, when it's sincere. But this is the world we live in.
Yes, sir.
And so you start thinking to yourself, like you said, you go out here, you go into jobs. You don't like these jobs. They got you in a situation where dog eat dog. People telling on each other. They want to know how much overtime you're getting. They trying to step on you to get to the top. They tearing up stuff and lying on you because you seem like the easiest person to put it off on. There's so many different things you go into and you don't even like this job. You out here part of the rat race. They don't trick you and got you into this industrial capacity. Now you might have to work till you 60 or 70 years old. You unhappy because you ain't making money or doing what you good at. You can't even be a father where you need to, because now you got to work 10 or 12 hours because the pay ain't even fair or equal to what you're doing. So now you second guessing yourself and you're wondering, how can I make money doing something that I love to do, doing something I'm good at? So, you start thinking about nurses and doctors. Yeah, they might love you. They might want everybody on this planet to be healthy. but they got to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you start trying to find a way to do it. But then you be reasonable. You know what I'm saying? You give reasonable prices. You don't rip people off or overcharge them. So it's just, so many different ways to look at that. But you do have to understand that if somebody else finds you valuable, you have to understand that it's valuable, whether that's emotionally or financially.
Exactly. Let me read this. Public Citizen said this right here. He said, isn't there a problem with people saying my truth when it doesn't necessarily match reality? If I have a delusion that I am a woman, is that truth? Is that truth true? We all need to find out purpose, but our truth. We all need to find out purpose, but our truth. Curtis, what do you say to that, brother?
Oh.
Curtis?
Yeah, I'm here. I had to hit the mute button.
Yeah,
Citizen, he dead on. Like, and finding your truth. I just had this conversation with one of my youth participants. And finding your truth. Let me put it like this right here. Here's the way I had the conversation. People spend so much time looking for their purpose, right? This is just my opinion. But people spend so much time trying to find their purpose. The one thing that I've realized over the years is that your quest for finding your purpose is going to be a failure, because purpose finds you, because purpose is directly connected to God. Your purpose is divinely given. It's a gift. So sometimes I think people go looking for something that they gifted with all along. And the only way you're going to find that gift is to believe and try your best to exist in your truth, because your truth will basically unfold the gift that God has given you. The truth is, I've been a sinner, still am a sinner. The truth is, I'm like Rico, man. Like, the truth is, I wasn't a good drug dealer. Why? Because I don't like hurting people. I don't like denying people the things that could enhance just their soul and their life, man. Like, I don't like that. So my truth was, man, I'm too nice to be out here on this corner selling drugs. I'm too nice to even be in that lifestyle, period. Like, there's a part of that lifestyle that folks, a lot of the young rappers, I gotta call a spade a spade. A lot of these young rappers glorify or speak highly of without telling these young kids the fallout of all that. The truth is, yeah, you made $3 million in 6 months, but here's the inconvenient truth: how many people had to die for you to get that $3 million? How many people had to be hurt or maimed for you to get that $3 million? So, it's just my belief, man. I just had this conversation just last week with one of my youth participants. Because I deal with people who struggle with not knowing what their purpose is, not knowing why they're here on earth, asking why mom and daddy abandoned me, or why grandmama don't want to deal with me, or why people seem like they dislike me, or things of that nature.
Yeah.
And the young kid, he was like, Mr. Kurt, honestly, we had started talking about purpose. And he was like, honestly, Mr. Kurt, I've been trying to find it, but I just can't seem to find it. And the only thing God put on my heart to say to him was, why are you trying to find that which ain't given to you, that which ain't given by you? That's given by God, man. Let God bring you your purpose. Like, you're not going to find that. So, and the only way you're going to do it, like you said, and like Rico said, and like the brother said earlier, is that the only way you're going to find your purpose is to exist in your truth, whatever that is, good, bad, or indifferent.
Kurt, let me ask you this question, and I want to go to I'm gonna go to K with the E. Hadn't spoken to her in a minute. I want to definitely get. But what if what if your truth is not comfortable?
Say that again, Raheem. What if your truth is?
What if your truth is not comfortable?
Then that makes the purpose all greater. It makes let me tell you, man, like I got a homeboy right now, man. He not only my homeboy, he my best friend. Not only my best friend, he my cousin. We cousins by marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
It took for my man to give the state 27 years. He found his purpose and his truth in prison.
Wow.
Now, mind you, that truth, being honest and truthful, that truth had a whole lot of mess in it, bro.
Yeah.
A lot of mess. But in order to exist in his truth, he had to at least acknowledge the mess for which he had created, the mess for which he had put himself in, and the mess for which he was going through. So by acknowledging that, he's better able to say, for example, nah, I don't want nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, nah, bro, like I'm going back to jail. And he literally looked at us. We all sat around Raheem having a conversation, and we all telling him, like, look, bro, like, we can't take no more time with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. It's done. It's a wrap. And we all sat around talking. And he looked us right in our face. He said, look, man. He said, I love y'all. He said, but if it go that route, he said, man, y'all just take care of my daughter. He said, because I'm not going back. I'm not going back to prison. I'm gonna make them kill me right there on the spot. I'm not going back to prison. You know what I mean? But the fact that he's willing to acknowledge that, nah, man, that part of my life, man, I'm tired. You know what I mean? That's his truth.
Yeah. That's
now
good.
he done started his own business. You know what I mean? And he's doing fairly decent. His truth is, his gift was, ever since we was kids, man, this kid he was a fixer. He could fix stuff, bikes, carpentry. He was doing carpentry without ever going to school, bro. Like, this kid could lay out a whole bedroom. It could just be studs, man. And he could go in there and lay the whole thing out. And he never took one day of class. So that was his gift. So now his business is, you know, you need some work done at your office. You call him, he come out. You know, he refurbish your office and things of that nature. But it took for him to go through a multitude of storms and hurricanes and tornadoes and this, that, and the third, most designed by self. But it took for him to go through that to recognize what his truth was.
Good deal. Kay, what if your truth is not comfortable?
What if your truth is not comfortable?
Yes, it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable for you, but it's your truth. Do you walk? Do you walk in it?
So you know what? Like you just said, it's about your choices. And you run it from your.
AK, you're skipping on me. You're coming in and out. You're skipping on me.
That is my phone. That's your phone.
No.
No, can you hear me?
Yeah. I ain't fooling with you, Kay. I ain't fooling with you. Go ahead, girl.
The truth is, like you said, if your truth is uncomfortable, you made it uncomfortable because you're running from your truth. So if you run from your true identity, because your true identity and who you are and what you are is your truth. So if you go out there and you decide, like Rico said, he decided he didn't want to do college no more. He wanted to be a drug dealer. But his truth was, his heart was too free. He got a big heart. A big hearted drug dealer is hard to make money. You're not going to make money. You're going to give it away every time because your heart is too big and you ain't in it to make money. You just thought everybody else was making money with it, so you might as well do it too. You're not going to make no, because that's not your heart. That's not your truth.
That's not where you
are. So if you make your truth uncomfortable, it's going to be uncomfortable. How uncomfortable can you stand it? My mama used to tell us, you put that heat in that kitchen, you better be able to stay in there.
Exactly.
So
Because
That's the truth.
he ain't going nowhere. The heat ain't going nowhere. Absolutely. Rico, man, I look at you are so good with them kids, man. I love the way you talk to them kids, man. They listen to you. You should be a teacher. You should be a teacher. That's what somebody said to you.
Man.
That's what somebody said.
You know how many times I heard that?
Yeah, see, look at God. Look at God.
So, you know how many times I heard that, man. Not only did I hear it from people in the streets, just in general, I mean, very educated people.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it from principals.
Yeah.
Principals and school teachers.
Mm-hmm.
In my interactions at the school. It was different times I walked into the office and saw little young boys in that uncooperative and looking like they could blow up the world if they could.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't get 2 words out of them. Then here it is, I'm talking to them, finding out what's wrong with them, explaining to them, you know, how to make things better, showing them how they got themselves in more trouble now because of how they acted. So sometimes they got to be a little calmer to make things, put themselves in a situation where they don't make things worse on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Then they come in and they're like, you know what? That little boy been sitting up here for 45 minutes. His mom and dad ain't showed up yet. We couldn't get 2 words out of them. We didn't want to whoop them. Because back then the principal could at least whoop you.
Yeah.
But they talked to him sideways.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing happened not long ago when I called down to Florida. And my son's counselor, she was talking real sideways.
Mm-hmm.
I had to break down what a counselor should be doing and what some of them people need counselors for. Man, she started talking different to my son.
Mm-hmm.
She started letting him call me. See, sometimes you got to understand the reality of your job or your place.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I heard that about being a school teacher, but I was glad that you went there and Curtis said what he said, because I was headed there before you had asked me to respond to what VP said.
Mm-hmm.
You got to understand your reality. You know, there's a such thing as being overconfident. Then there's a such thing as lacking confidence.
Mm-hmm.
But that line in between the two is so thin. So, you know, we see some people out here, man, we can't lie about it. Aesthetically, they are unattractive.
Mm-hmm.
They might be 4 or 500 pounds. They might be extreme BBWs. And they might not look too cute in the face. But, you know, you have some people that'll tell them, you're beautiful regardless. And you know what? We are beautiful regardless on the inside. But that don't mean you go and put on the skimpiest thing that Buffy the Body put on. That don't mean you start taking pictures and start trying to twerk. And no, you certain things you don't wear out on the street. Don't get me wrong, you could be built like Buffy the Body or Beyonce or Arnold Schwarzenegger. You still shouldn't wear certain things in public.
Yeah.
But don't get overconfident and start thinking that you are a 10 when you are 3.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time,
Rico, they're at least a 3.5. Now 3.5. Come on now, 3.5. Give them a half.
Yes, B. Now you get some of these friends. You get the cheerleaders in the choir that come along with them. Yes, B. You know they call each other B word. We better not call them B, but they call each other B.
Yeah.
Yes, B.
Mm-hmm.
Wear it, girl.
Yeah, exactly.
But see, this is the reality. They shouldn't be wearing that. And then you got some people that understand that reality. Mm-hmm. They know they ain't the most attractive. And that's a sad thing because they show it in their confidence. They lack confidence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then you have some that say, well, you know what? I know I'm not as attractive as everybody else, but I'm still human and I'm still worthy. I'm still valuable for what's inside of my head. See, that's where you've got to start getting people to get away from the superficial side of things when you start trying to find out their value and their truth, their reality.
Yes, sir.
But it's all about the not being, I'm going to say, having a delusion of what's going on. See, these same, not to keep picking on women, the same women that say, yes, B, wear it, girl, strut. Mm-hmm. They said to E.J. Johnson and Dwayne Wade's son, too. Mm-hmm. Yes, B, you be the best you. Be the true you. That ain't the true them, though.
Yeah.
Exactly. The true them is that they are men that likes a woman lifestyle. Mm-hmm. They are truly genetically born men that don't like the duties of being a man. They like the characteristics of a woman. They like the high heels. Mm. Maybe it was influence. See, we got to give influence a lot of I don't want to say credit, but we got to pay attention and be mindful of how powerful influence is.
Yeah, gotta acknowledge it. Absolutely.
You know,
Rico,
you gotta acknowledge it. So you know, go ahead.
I got something for you. Public Citizen said something about you, brother. He says, we are all teachers. We all have the responsibility to help each other. But I agree, Rico has that teacher's vibe. So there you go.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I done heard it. I've heard it before. That one amongst others, you know, but you know, sometimes I think it might be bigger than that. I might be limiting myself if I was to just become a school teacher. Who knows? But it's just something for us to think about. You know, we got to realize that sometimes we create this confusion amongst others because as coming up, we have people that we look up to. We value their words. They might have the material and superficial things that we consider that makes them successful, and we want that, so we'll listen to them. They might be the dope dealers, they might be the hard workers, they might be kicking their wives' tails at home, but they hard working and they got all the things we want, all the things that we consider make them successful. So we gotta, you know, like I said, understand the reality of things and dig a lot deeper.
Absolutely. Friday, what's on your heart, sis?
Your path is not my path and my path is not yours, but that don't mean that we can't end up at the same place. You know, and I say that because one of the things that my mom would say when I was growing up is that don't be fooled by what somebody else can handle, because that doesn't mean that when you walk down that path that the results are going to be the same for you. So somebody that is operating in their truth may have a grace on them to not or to be able to tolerate things at different levels, but because perhaps they're not aware of that grace or truth for themselves because they're still working it out, they're going to say, oh, come on, this ain't nothing, I can do this and still go to work. And then you do it at the same level that they're doing it, and then you end up dead.
Wow.
Right? Because you're not graced for that path. You're not operating in so basically, you know, you kind of spoke to it earlier about how things look. Oh, that looked interesting, I hadn't seen that before. And then the enticement of well try it, because somebody's wanting you to try something based off their results. And so they're telling you it's going to be this, it's going to be that. But if you're not graced for that, if that was not the path you were supposed to walk on, there will be a level of grace given to you, known as a ram in the bush, right, to get up out of there. But if you pursue it and it's looking to think that the result's going to be exactly what theirs are, you're going to be disappointed. And then that disappointment is going to lead you down a different path, which could be shame or depression or self-destruction, because now the results wasn't saying you mad at them. You said it was going to be like this, and it wasn't like this for me at all. So we can't judge the outcome if we choose that path to be the same of the outcome of the person that is already down it, because that our path is not the same.
Absolutely. VP, let me ask you this question. You somebody come and you love somebody come to you and they say, man, look here, man, I really love her. I really love her. One of your boys, I really love her. You know, she's my world, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. I can't exist without her. I just love her just that much. I think my truth is I'm just a cheater. And I want to have 2 or 3. I don't want to lose her. But my truth is I've always cheated. Every relationship I've been in, I've cheated on the person that I've been with. So my truth is I'm a cheater. What do you say to that person, VP?
Okay, so I know. So obviously, I know this person in some sense. So I would know this truth that they're trying to at least establish on themselves. I would tell them love is a strong but fickle word. You're trying to identify the truth that can be changed. So you've cheated in the past. The thing about the past is you can't go back to it. You can't change the past. It happened. But you have everything in you to control the present and hope for or the outcome of the future. So if you keep telling yourself all the time, I'm a cheater, even though I love her, I know I'm gonna make a mistake. Guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna make a mistake because your focus ain't on her. Your focus on not trying to cheat. Your focus is if Christ's focus was to always be healing on earth and not sacrifice himself for the whole earth, then we would have never been saved the way we're supposed to, because he would still be down here healing and touching people, having them chase after his robe, walking from land to land, and not doing what his purpose was, and knowing his truth. So you got to know your truth. Okay, sir or ma'am, sir, I know you, player. The reason you messed up is because you won't identify that you have commitment issues. Maybe you need to look into yourself and say, well, we know when you was messing with, Cassandra back then, that she wasn't really giving you what you were looking for. Now you're telling me that this girl you're in love with is your moon and stars, but is she really? Are you willing to sacrifice and get rid of things to make sure that she sticks around, or that she really fits the bill? Because your love, because usually I know I don't identify my friends that way, but most of my friends are on the Christian path, so they would know that in Ephesians 5 that Christ, he sacrificed. So you must love your spouse, your significant other, in the same love that Christ would, in a sacrificial way, knowing that although it's happy now, there's going to be times when pain are coming, and the pain's coming.
Yeah.
It's not, don't pretend like you don't know it's coming. Do you have what it takes to sacrifice when it comes, and not and give your will up? And if you're not willing to do that, then don't jump in this relationship, because that don't mean you really love her. It means you lusted for her, and that's what you're telling me, is you're a luster.
Yeah, that's good.
You in love with the idea, but you're lusting truly for what love is, and your mind is not where it needs to be right now. Not in the standpoint of the commitment aspect. Love is long and enduring. That's what I had to learn in my truth. That's what I when you call me, when you're gonna call me again, I was on like that's what I think I want to say a name wrong with a K. With a K, I said that if you're running from your truth, then it's gonna find you. And my truth was, I have to learn what it's like to be a father and a husband, because I run from it. And God found me in a hotel room after I was on destructive mode. I was like, screw everybody and the world. And God was like, all right, well, now it's time for me to intervene, because I have something for you, and it's time for you to stop running. But that doesn't mean just because he showed up and it was there that I was ready to accept it. Doesn't mean that you see your truth, that you're supposed to just jump on it. Not everybody's built that way. And I like Rico's example of the BWs and stuff, but within that, everybody tries to use Lizzo's truth. Lizzo was one who, to some, is inappropriate in her dressing, but to others, it was a liberator, because she liberated a lot of people from their own self-oppression to feel okay with their bodies, which is just a natural form, or a barrier for us to get to know who they are on the inside. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm with him on, the world will create outfits to make people look outlandish, but there's a truth in their expressions, even though it may not be the right way of doing it. They may use their physical bodies to say, this is who I am, or to get attention so you could get to know who I am. But there's a truth in that standing of letting go and releasing in that avenue or in that manner, that I think we miss sometimes because of the overall atmosphere of, you don't fit the bill for what this is in my life, for me, in my life, not what the world thinks. Because in Africa, it's a stretch your body, and what you got, that's what you're blessed with. America puts terms on how you
Hey,
feel.
preacher. Now we gotta get some more people in here, preacher.
Oh, my
Gotta
bad,
get
bro.
all right, preacher. Okay. You're talking to your wife. She's looking at me. She's so proud. She's like, oh, look at my baby. Hey, she was so proud right there. But look at preacher. We gotta get some more people up in here. Hold on for a second. Curtis, I want to ask you this question, brother. Curtis, you there?
Yeah.
Curtis, we'll talk. One of your clients, brother, say that very thing to you. Say that very. You got a lot of background noise going on, Curtis.
Yeah, it's because I'm in my car, man. I'm
Okay.
on my way to work.
Okay, check this out. One of your clients come to you, man, and one of the young men, and he say to you this. He say, look here, Kurt, man, I met this little girl, man. I really do like her, man. I really do like her. She's everything I've been looking for, Kurt. She's Mr. Curtis. She's everything I've been looking for. But Mr. Curtis, I have a history, and I think my truth is that I am a cheater. I've cheated on every girl I've ever dealt with. I've cheated on them. I just cheated. I don't want to do this with her because I don't want to lose her. Kurt, as a man, talking to this young man, what do you say to him?
Well, what was your truth? See, the crazy thing about truth is like everything else.
Mm-hmm.
You can always change the existence of your truth.
Mm-hmm.
You can always change that. Your truth does not have to be your present day.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is, I used to be a dope fiend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a dope fiend anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
The truth is, I used to be a heavy drinker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink heavy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is, I was a whoremonger. I don't whoremonger anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's several truths that have changed. Now, that don't mean that the truth is going to disappear. It's just in my past,
Mm-hmm.
where it belongs. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
If you feel you really love this woman, and she's the apple of your eye, the kit in your caboodle,
Mm-hmm.
then what is your need to do? That's all I could say. There's American society and culture. For some reason, American people seem to think that they are the catalyst for other folks' change. We not. We don't change nothing. It is up to that individual to recognize that there needs to be change made, and then cause a cataclysmic event that changes their life, their situation, and or their circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
We don't change nothing. There's nothing I could say honestly to that man that would change him.
Mm-hmm.
What I can do is plant seeds that make him think about the changes that he wants. One of those seeds, like I said, would be, well, if you saying that you love her, this is your end all to be all, then what need is there for you to cheat?
Mm-hmm.
Because she obviously has everything in her that you welcome or that you want in a significant other.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes. Yes.
And hopefully, with saying that, he has analyzed her to her fullest of potential,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, you know what, Mr. Kurt made a whole lot of sense. I don't need to look nowhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I've literally seen where a guy, he was actually one of my battle buddies, and his wife, he found everything that he ever wanted. And he wasn't a cheater. And girls was, oh my God, they was throwing it at him. And if I said his name, some of the sports fans on here would remember him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I mean, when I tell you they was throwing it at him, I mean they was throwing it at him.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him running into my room because we shared a bathroom. We was in the military. We shared a bathroom. We had suites.
Yeah.
So we shared because of our ranks, we shared a bathroom. So it was almost like a college dorm.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember him running in my room because one of the girls in the unit had got hold of the key and had done finagled her way. Basically, he was in the room sleep. He wake up and she's standing there butt ball naked. He jump up and run in my room. Kurt, man, look, man, look, man, can you go over there? Man, go over there and ask that girl, get out of my room, man. Like, man. And I'm like, dude, you know what I mean? What you talking about, man? Girl in my room, man. I don't want no parts of that, man. I love my wife, this, that, and the third. Years went by, and we find out his wife he wasn't everything she wanted.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, it really ain't much. It really ain't much you can say to change that attitude. I think it's more or less things that you could say to help him recognize his ultimate truth, and hopefully his ultimate truth or her ultimate truth lines up with, okay, this is it. This is the one.
Rico, what's on your heart, brother? It's a lot being put out there, man. That's deep right there. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's good he went there, because that was another place I was gonna go, being that you had already started on this. I'm weak. I tell you, I am weak. Since I've been, before I could spell my name, before he could even tell you my name, man, I've been mannish. Now, I mean, over sexualized. It started at a very young age. And it ain't went nowhere. I'm very superficial. I'm self, you know what I'm saying, for a good little while now. I've been doing pretty good, but that was an extreme move that I had to make, because my truth is that, number one, I don't trust people. I don't trust women. I don't trust people, friends, as far as friends or relationship wise. I don't trust people too much. I can count on my hand how many women I've gone with.
Mute your line, Curtis. Curtis, mute your line for me.
Oh, my bad.
I could count on one hand how many women that I've actually claimed or dedicated myself to, or that I accepted it. You know, it was certain times that women considered themselves as being exclusive to me, but I wouldn't accept it because I knew they were lying. So, you know, it was a mind thing for me. If I'm going to embrace it and say we're exclusive, then we are an idol. And so I can count on one hand how many times that has happened. Now, the notches on my belt, that's another story. You see, the thing, my truth is that I finally came to the point where I said, well, okay, Rico, you ain't good with this girlfriend thing, because you still got a wandering eye. And no matter how hard you fight, when you still have that temptation to be like, ooh, I sure want to, you're going to probably do what you want to, and you're going to look for an excuse if that woman wants you to. You're going to look for a reason about, oh, yeah, I ain't have no choice but to. So I found myself being that weak person, on top of not being trusting, on top of the fact that I'm weak. And if I would admit to you if I was going with you, yeah, Rihanna or Beyonce would come and say, hey, Rico, you got one night with me. I'm taking that night. I got them. You know what I'm saying? And so that's my truth. I'm just going to be honest. You get
yourself in hot water, brother. You're getting yourself in some hot water when you get
in hot water. So guess what? I stay single.
Yeah.
My other truth is that I don't like hurting people. So I would rather have no strings attached relationships.
I'm gonna ask you a question, Rico, and I know where I am with this, man. And people tell me I'm weird, but you walk in a room, and this is totally off cuff. You walk in a room, and there's two young ladies in there, and they say you got to pick one, and we're gonna go. Well, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. One of them is Beyonce, and the other one is Kelly. Which one you going with?
I'm choosing Beyonce, man. You put me on the spot. How you gonna ask that question, man?
Man, I gotta go with Kelly, brother. I gotta go with Kelly.
How about this? Me being me, I'm gonna Beyonce, but I might try Kelly later on just to see what's up.
Nah,
hey, we ain't got no strings attached. I ain't got no ring on my finger. See, that's what I'm getting to.
Look at Friday up there. Look at Friday up there, man. Look at Friday up there.
With me having the heart that I got, though, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. I still would be in the mode that I don't want to hurt you. So, you know, if you're trying to force a relationship on me, you're trying to force a situation on me that I know I ain't going to do you right. I ain't going to treat you right. My heart is still enough in the right place where I don't want to be that ruthless, even with the drug dealer thing. It was some things that you have to be ruthless about. Some things I couldn't be ruthless about. I couldn't be cool with people that I grew up with, parents come asking to do sexual favors for me for a little rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want none of that. I always looked at you as an elder.
Yeah.
You as a dope fiend, a geek monster is what we used to call them. I didn't look at them like that.
Yeah.
But other people did. So, you know, in that truth, I have to accept who I am. You know what I'm saying? And in the process of me trying to be a better person, I have to say, well, you know what? Before you even start trying to get in a relationship with a woman, because you know you ain't right, from day one, you have sexually objectified women. And to this day, sex is still going to be a major part of it, even if you try to suppress it. When that woman goes to the room, you're going to start thinking some sexual stuff. So, you know, the best thing to do is see if I can fix that sexual side of me. That's why I'm celibate. You know, then it's for me, first of all, but then at the same time to make myself even better, because I haven't been that terrible of a person to be a cheater. I don't want to be that cheater. I don't want to be the one to have you crying because you found out I was with that woman or that woman. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, if she pushed me in a corner, I'm going to do it. Because I've been my whole life. So I got to find out who I am, knowing that truth. I got to find out what I need to do to stop sexually objectifying women so much and making that such an important, a major part of my relationship.
Watch this, Rico. Watch this now. I got to be real mindful how I do this. Watch this. VP, you there? Unmute your line, brother. Unmute your line. Okay, now you walk into the room. You walk into the room. There's 2 ladies in that room. You got to pick one. Okay, you got to pick one. Okay, one of them name is Friday, and the other one name is Friday. Which one you picking? He thinking.
Oh, we're talking about Friday with a Friday with a PH or Friday with an F?
Both of them with a PH. But one of them named Friday, and the other one name is Friday. Which one you picking? I'm trying to help you out here, bro.
Shayla. I would pick Shayla. That's the real one. Friday is the persona.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, look here. Yeah, look here. You know I'm a married man too, brother. There's certain things we don't put ourselves in situations, brother.
Hey, you might be in trouble just asking that question. What you talking about, some Beyonce and Kelly?
Yeah, exactly.
I would have answered that question. I would have answered it though.
You would have answered
it? I would give you a real answer.
Oh Lord,
I would have answered.
No, I'm not even gonna give you opportunity to answer that question. I'm not even gonna do it. No, I'm not. As a matter of fact, we moving on from you, brother. K with an E. As a matter of fact, we getting out of this situation right now. We ain't even gonna play with this. No sir. K with an E. You there? Find that mute button. Oh Lord, K can't find that mute button. Friday, let's talk, sister. We ain't gonna put our brother in no situation like that. No sir. What's on your heart?
I'm just enjoying it. There was something I was gonna say to a point that Rico had made, but then with all of the distraction of the talk, I forgot what it was gonna be. So I'll just continue to keep listening.
Okay, good. Rico, we got some on the screen here. Read it for me, brother.
My biggest fear being with one woman for eternity. That's bad, but it's real. Have a great day, everyone.
So, okay.
It used to be a dream for me. That used to be one of my dreams. But, you know, you want to know what really let me know I had a problem?
What's that?
I was young and I talked to other women and I tell them about why I wanted to get married. I would always say, I want to get married young. So on my 50th wedding anniversary, we could have wild sex. Women would be like, what? Is that all you thinking about? And I'd be fooling myself. No, that ain't all I'm thinking about.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I mean, you know, it's taken me a long time to put that in a minor perspective. Now, don't get me wrong. As I'm getting older, I am putting more in this place. But at the same time, man, I mean, sometimes when you sometimes them eyes will do some things, man. You see some stuff, man, and it just make you be like, uh-oh. So the reality is you got to realize you ain't young no more. Stuff you can't do what you thought you could do if you even had a chance to.
Yeah, because look at here, I'm gonna tell you something. You talking about the 50th wedding anniversary. That means you've been married for 50 years. Probably was about 20, 25 years old. It might not work, Rico. Look, that might not work. I'm gonna keep it clean, but that might not work.
Reality. That's the reality.
Yeah, that's yeah. You know, 20-year-old and 70 years old, there's a huge difference. Curtis, are you still with us? Curtis, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Now you
Yeah, I'm right here.
you walk into that room, brother. You walk into that room, and you got two young ladies in there. You got to pick one. One is AJ, and one is a Wilder. Which one you picking?
I'm rolling with a Wilder.
Okay, why not AJ?
Cause I'm rolling with a Wilder right here. You're not putting me in the doghouse. I'm rolling with a Wilder though. I'm with what VP said. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
AJ is a persona.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Wilder is the real person. So I'm gonna roll with a Wilder.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know, you know, relationships love, period,
Mm-hmm.
is a really hard thing to not only have, but to achieve. And when you really look at love, you have gone through more pain getting it than you have not having it at all.
Mm-hmm.
It is in my opinion that some people are just scared of that type of pain. They don't want to feel that type of pain anymore.
Coach, let me ask you a question. Just get into it, brother. I'm gonna let you finish your thought. You go right back to it after you answer the question. But let me ask you this: majority of the time, with us, with men, let's deal with it from that angle. What is better for us, the chase or the capture?
Well, that's not open because it depends on what the capture is.
Mm-hmm.
Like for some men in this game of life that we playing, like even when I was out there, bro, I never went after what everybody else had.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't. If I'm going with the ideology of conquering something and I'm trying to feed my conquering spirit, I ain't conquered nothing if you, Rico, VP, Donald, Bishop, if all y'all already done been there, I ain't conquered nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got nothing new.
Yeah.
I just got what was available.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, when the game was being played, I always played the game against that which nobody else could get, or it appeared that nobody else could get it.
Mm-hmm.
So for some dudes, for most in that situation, you got to understand, well, what are you trying to conquer?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, if you're trying to conquer Sally Smo, who done ran with every Joe,
mm-hmm.
then what achievement did you have? You know what I mean? Like there's no real achievement in that.
Absolutely.
But I don't want to lose my train of thought. You know, my memory is kind of bad.
Comes with age, brother. Comes with age.
Love is, you know, I implore everybody when you get a chance to just read William Shakespeare's Sonnet 116, because in that Shakespeare's Sonnet 116 and Einstein's letter to his daughter defining love is the two, for me, the two most influential pieces that I've read and understood that gave me clear definition as to what love is. Mm-hmm. And what is sad with the whole entire thing is we have some people, and I'm just going to be truth. I'm just going to be truthful about it. we have some people who really think that they are in love and don't even know that what they think they in, they ain't never even felt it.
Yeah.
You know, we got people who fall in love.
We got 4 minutes.
But they have all of these. All right, so let me end it like this. We have people who fall in love, but their love is based on contingencies or based on conditions.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, in my opinion, that the act of true love has no conditions. You can't control it. Love is the one thing that if it want to get out the box, it's going to get out the box. Rather, you try and hold it in there, you try and close the door. No, it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And when it leaves, it's leaving. And if it's going to come back, it's going to come back. Like, you can't control it. And that's man's problem. That's what I believe. Man's problem is forever he has been trying to control 2 things, love and God. Mm-hmm. And those 2 things are synonymous.
Mm-hmm. Good deal.
So you're trying to control 2 things in one spirit. It ain't going to work.
Friday, I'm gonna ask you a question, and won't you let out some lady secrets for a second, okay? I don't need you to let out some lady secrets. All right. Now this is what I'm asking you. A lot of time, okay, say you at a not you personally, say a young lady is at an event, and she look around everybody, see who's in that place. Does she scan that? If she's a single lady, does she scan that room and see who? Okay, maybe him. He has a 50% chance. He don't have no chance at all. Him, okay, if he came over, we could talk. Do y'all do that when y'all walk into a room? And do y'all have conversations on that? How does that work? Because a lot of time I heard a lot of ladies say, I knew the first two minutes where this was going or where it wasn't going. How does that work?
I think that's combining a couple of things. Knowing in the first minute or 2 minutes where something's going, let you engage somebody, and that's across the board. But as far as going into a room, you're going to scan the room based on preference and goals. And based on preference and goals, you're going to look to see what's in the room that either fits both, ideally, the category, or at least the preference. And then based on that, then you're looking at knowing who accepting who you are at that time, what you believe that you have to offer or contribute to either lead the conversation or contribute to the conversation. You're going to go to that direction. A lot of times we say it's the energy pulled me in that direction. But you look at everybody, not just women, but women do it. They'll go into a room and see already visually, based on what the perception is of what they are, what their goals are, and what their
mute your line, Curtis. Mute your line, Curtis. Go ahead.
What their preferences are, then they're going to see, based on that checklist in their mind of what that looks like to them, they're going to see who looks like they're either if they're looking for somebody that looks like they look like they're somebody, then they're going to go towards that. Now, the discernment or the determination in the first 2 minutes of how that's going is going to be based on what their goals are. If their goals are going into room, like, we'll stay with Beyonce and say, if I was a boy, if that's their mentality of a goal and they just in there just trying to see who they can knock off or take home, then that's how they're going to then measure out the first 2 minutes of the conversation. How then can they do that or get that goal accomplished? And if that's not their goal and that's what they feel the other person's goal is, then they're going to be like, I'm gonna move on, because that you're not trying to go in a direction that I'm trying to go, at least for tonight. And so I think that rings true for women, but I think it's across the board too.
Got you. Kay, with the E, you back with us?
Yes, I am.
Answer that question. We are 10:01, so give me your quick version. Do you all do that? Do y'all go in the room? Do y'all scan the room? And not you personally, but women as a whole. Do y'all scan the room and see who potential and who does not have potential?
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know if you have potential until we get to talking and having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't look at you and be like, well, she got potential. I couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I have to hold a conversation with you to know where you at.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't take long at all.
Okay.
You can just say hi to me and I'm be like, whoa, I don't think I want to be talking to her much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, so if JJ would have walked in that room and he walk up to you and he got the best conversation in the world. Personality.
You used JJ before on me. You got to go with Ice Cube or somebody.
No, we're talking about JJ now. Now JJ can walk up to you. He got the best conversation in the world. Personality seemed to be on point. Dressed nicely, shoes clean. Nice shoes. And I know y'all like the watch. He's got a nice little watch on his wrist, and all that stuff is in place. Groomed right. And he say, walk up to you and say, "Well, Dynamite, girl, you look good." I had to throw that in there, Rico. I had to throw that in there, Rico.
I'm just gonna say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You look nice too.
So
if you smell good, you smell good. And that's that. It's just a compliment. It's just a conversation.
So
if he say, "May I have your number?" No, I'm taking.
And is that because of the way he looked?
No, I'm taking.
But you're not taking.
I'm taking. I tell every guy I'm taking, and I am taking. You got to go to the Creator to get to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking. I belong to the Creator.
God sent me here to talk to you. He told me to tell you that I have some things on my heart that you need to have. What'd you say then?
And if God sent you, then God sent you. God be with you.
Come on, let go then.
No, they don't go like that because God ain't never tell me to come on, let's go. He told me.
Now you know that's where the problem come in at, though, dog.
They with the East, you the one.
You know that's where the problem come in, that those women that say they taking, then they say, good walking there, he cowed all up in his face and looking all good, and JJ over there in the corner looking to look at him.
Look at him.
What's wrong with me?
VP, what's on your heart, brother?
On this conversation, just the end.
Yeah, it's just we wrapped it up. What's on your heart on what we're talking about this JJ situation?
Just on the case situation?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't believe that. I don't believe nobody walks in a room and don't look at somebody and say, "Yeah, you can get it tonight," or you know what, you an ugly mofo. I ain't never seen nothing look like you in my life. I hope I don't ever come across you again. You gotta have that in you. You gotta have something in you. Now I can see the conversations might mislead you, but you always you start eating with your eyes first, and you also see a person and eat them with your eyes first too. It's got to be some type of desire. Not saying not saying she might be a unicorn, but she could be that way for real. I don't know her. I want her to get mad and get back on the phone and cuss me out. But
I am definitely that way.
I heard hard to believe it.
I was coming up dating. I was like that.
Yeah.
And I'm still like that right now today. And a woman would get on. Lisa would get on this phone, Goddess, and tell you, I'm calling names now, but she's one of us. And she would tell you she'd have been with me, and I ignored the men. And I don't walk in the room looking at them or nothing, and I ignore them. And I think just the way I carry myself make them want me more. But no, I've been like that. I don't go in the room.
I can understand that.
He's built any of that. I don't do none of that. I hang out with girls that did that. So that's a big no-no.
Okay.
Okay, with the E, do you find that that's more of a defense mechanism that you've adopted over the years, or to like
my mother raised
not
me
be fully vulnerable?
My mother raised me to be particular. So in order to be particular, you walk in the room, you do you. You don't walk in the room to get attention, and you don't walk in the room looking to see who's looking at you or that man look like that, because you might be looking at somebody's husband. So you don't walk in the room and look for a man.
Now,
a man will find you.
Who you say? You said a name of a gentleman last time. Who did you say?
I said when I told you that you can compare me. I said when you always come to me with JJ. I said come with Ice Cube.
Okay, so if Ice Cube came over to you and said, "Hey, but yay," well, that's his little. He came to you, said, "Yay," what would you do?
If Ice Cube came to me and said anything, I probably would just stand there and stare at him like, "Oh my goodness."
Hold on. Why is it you stare at him but you won't stare at JJ?
Right.
Because JJ is not attractive to me. It makes a difference. If somebody is attracted to you, they come over there and speak to you, then you get a different output. If somebody is attracted to you and you walk in that room, they just attracted to you. You don't say nothing to them. You don't let them know you notice them or none of that, because that might be somebody's man. So you just go on and do you.
Okay, you contradict yourself. That's the whole point right here was making from the beginning.
Exactly.
No, because
now you said,
I don't walk in a room and say, "Dang, he look good," because that might be somebody's man. But the girls that I hang with walk in the room and be like, "Oh, he look good," and I just look at him and shake my head and I don't say nothing, because that's how they
But
do.
listen, see,
over there to you,
Rico, she ain't gonna stop till she get it all in. Okay, now one of us can talk.
Eye candy is eye candy.
Yeah, I can't.
You ain't got to eat it.
He mentioned the name, you know, and see, this is the thing. See, I was agreeing with Kay till she said that, because what I can do it.
Hold on, Kay.
Is I can walk in a room but know what my purpose and my agenda is, and I like to accomplish my goals so much that I don't like to waste time. So I know how not to let those interfere with each other. Yeah, I might walk in a room and be like, "Ooh, she attractive," but I ain't thinking I need to find a way to get to her. I'm here to get accomplished what I came here to get accomplished. I'm focused on a certain thing. So I can agree with being able to walk in a room and still being in a room full of attractive people or celebrities and still not getting crazy, you know, getting caught up in the who's there, but accomplishing the goal that you're there for. We could do this other stuff at the right time and place. But if I'm in there to take care of some business, I don't care how good you look, because you might try to use that as leverage on what we're trying to accomplish, and then that's going to interfere with getting what we're trying to do.
Now, y'all know we got to get out of here. It's 9 minutes out, but Friday, I got to come to you, sister. What's on your heart? I see you up there. You want to say something?
I was just chuckling. I was like, it just goes back to my point. We enter a room, we have a preference, and we'll scan the room with that preference, and then based on our goals, we'll determine our next steps and actions, or even how that conversation is going. But I was gonna say that eye candy is eye candy. Now, you can look and say that something looks nice, right, and not necessarily be oh, I gotta go after that or be with that, because it very well may be somebody else's prize. But being somebody else's prize doesn't stop them from being appealing. Being appealing doesn't mean take action.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Curtis, anything on your heart right now, brother? Curtis, you there? Now, VP, what if it's let me see who Grace Jones.
Who?
Great, you don't know who Grace
people?
Grace Jones. Rico, you know Grace Jones, don't you?
Yeah, she was on whether not distinguished gentlemen. What was that movie with?
Boomerang. She was on a movie with Boomerang.
Boomerang, yeah.
From Boomerang.
Yes,
Don't be with me. Not even. I can didn't no matter what personality. No, sir. That don't fit my bill.
See, and that's the same level, ain't it? That's the same level that Kay was just talking about, Rico. Is that the same thing? I'm just have talked to. We're going to get out of here.
Yeah, it is. She said that I ain't got time for none of these men, because JJ Walker's walking around now. But you bring in a couple of Ice Cubes and Drakes, and all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, the human trafficking conference will turn into a dating site. Oh,
Exactly. Exactly.
You single? My name K with an E. K don't play with. I forgot all about all her charity and everything, man. I ain't thinking about picnics or nothing. That gonna kill you.
Exactly. Let me see. I don't know who this is calling me right now. I might get it right. But Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
If you missed today's show and would like to catch it in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Friday, pray us out, sis.
Oh, I sure will. Dear Heavenly Father, we just come before you just saying thank you for another day. Thank you for allowing us to wake up with activities of our limbs and closing our right minds, and an opportunity to fellowship together through this platform to uplift, encourage, and inform one another's and each other and others as we share our truth in today's topic, dear Heavenly Father. And once we leave this platform, dear Heavenly Father, don't let the conversation stop. I pray that we'll be moved to continue the conversation with people around us, even within our own households, to continue to have greater understanding as we seek after you, dear Heavenly Father, allowing your light to shine through us so that others may find their way to you. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank gentlemen, y'all with us tonight. Rico, VP, you with us tonight?
We have. I got small group Bible study. I could jump on late, but I won't be there at the beginning.
Okay, all right, good deal. We're definitely looking for you. We're definitely looking for you, brother. And it is now 10:13. Man, y'all done took me over. You know, I got to pay for some more time. Lord Jesus, I'm gonna send VP the bill. VP better handle it. VP, he can handle it. He got it. If he ain't got it, he gonna go to Friday and get it from Friday. We know where the money at. Go ahead. Shake your head. There you go. Good deal. Oh, I gotta let somebody in too. Listen, it's time for us to get out there.
I'll be grateful for the blessing.
There you go. It is 10:13. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and more than that, thank you for allowing DK, your media group, and associates, and the Morning Glow to be a part of your morning. It is 10:13. You're about to exit the Morning Glow, but before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're simply praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. You all have a great day. Take an opportunity to give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Take care of each other and be kind.